live.
Are we live?
Hopefully, hello everyone. We're watching more Star Trek: The Next Generation. Hopefully, okay. It says live for 4 seconds, 5 seconds. We're live. It's working.
We
Don't
are
worry
live
about
this
it.
time.
Okay. So today we're watching Best of Both Worlds, Family, and Brothers. It's a good trio of episodes, and we messed with our schedule a little bit previously to adjust that and make it all work to get those three. And DB, apparently his favorite character in Star Trek Next Generation is Commander Shelby. Why is that, DB?
No, hear me out. Because Shelby has the kind of drive and like ambition to like excel in the ranks that we don't really see. Like LaForge, he doesn't like really talk about, advancing. Riker passes up commissions. Picard passes up a promotion or could be commandant of the academy. Data's not going anywhere. Shelby's the only one that's like, fuck yeah, I want your job, Riker, get out of here.
She tries to rock the boat. Just totally jumps in there, bam, firing guns.
She's so dynamic, I think, and kinetic. It's just interesting.
So yeah, so Best of Both Worlds. I don't know if anybody's ever actually like sat down and thought about the title of the episodes, but this is a Riker episode, believe it or not. So the whole premise here is that at the beginning of the episode, Shelby is ambitious because she thinks Riker is leaving, because they have offered Riker the Melbourne, the command of that starship, which
I believe her line is, "I'm sorry, sir, I had heard you'd been leaving."
Yeah. And so the Melbourne also ultimately ends up getting destroyed at Wolf 359, so it's kind of good he didn't go. But Best of Both Worlds means, Riker really likes it on the Enterprise to the point where he's willing to essentially put the brakes on his career.
Does he like the Enterprise, or does he like Patrick Stewart and Captain Picard?
Well, I'm not going to go into that quantification, but he also had a strong ambition to become a captain one day. And the Best of Both Worlds is Captain Riker of the Enterprise.
Kind of an interesting metaphor. He's right. Everything he's saying, so talking to the audience here, everything he's saying you'll see happen on screen. And we're trying to just bring it out for you. I mean, we're here to just, as Ryan said, just hang out, watch Star Trek together. Right? Am I talking too much?
I mean, I get it. I mean, if I was, the CO or the XO of the ship, and my captain kept cuddling up with me every time I said the wrong thing, I'd absolutely be all about that ship.
Well, I think we've learned this lesson before, and it's just a matter of hanging in there and standing up for what you believe in, and it's not, you can't blame somebody for what they're thinking. You can blame somebody for the actions they do, and that's kind of how I judge people.
And how should we judge Patrick Stewart every time he messes up a take, melting into Jonathan Frakes' arms? There are like 5 instances in the outtakes of Patrick Stewart and Jonathan Frakes just like hugging each other.
I mean, that's just life. I mean, bad takes.
God,
I mean, how does it turn out in the end? I mean, we're only covering 3 episodes.
Who here would ever not melt into Jonathan Frakes' arms? I mean,
he's so tall. He's so tall and he's all muscular. He's a commanding presence. You feel safe.
He has such a teddy bear face. Like in a good way, it just brings a smile to the audience.
He has a deep, soothing voice. We all love Commander Riker.
He seems
He's
kind
very
and
professional,
strong.
and his whole life is all about work.
Just to be clear, you're starting on part 1 of Best of Both Worlds, correct?
Yes, part 1. We're watching parts 1 and 2, and Family and Brothers. So 4 episodes today, because 2-parters count as 1.
And
yeah.
if we could ask the newcomer to state their name, please.
It is the stated policy of Brian's streams that we do not split 2-parters.
Wait, did you just call me Brian with a B?
No, I said Ryan.
He did.
Oh.
I
sounded like a Brian.
It was definitely not in my mind. It may have just been my.
Don't you besmirch my good name like that.
By adding the
I would
letter
never.
B.
I have known many Brians in my life, and I would never besmirch a Ryan by calling him Brian
Okay.
intentionally.
Okay. Well, good. So how's that
Talking
weather?
about- Hello.
It's a kind of sunny here right now, so that's, a thing that's happening. It's still
It's
cold because,
34 here.
dead of winter.
34 and dark. There's probably going to be precipitation here.
That's
Precipitation's pretty good. I'm all about that precipitation.
Lovely 25. Loving every moment of it, obviously.
All right, 10 seconds to play. Everyone be queued up to Best of Both Worlds Part 1, 0 seconds. And press play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. All right, we had to watch a lot of really bad Star Trek to get to this point,
Yes.
but we made it.
Hell yeah.
And a fair amount of good Star Trek, too.
A fair amount of good Star Trek.
Let's not be too pessimistic. I mean, I know I'm the one who talks about everybody who's died on the show, but,
All right, here we go down to the surface.
So this scene kind of bugged me after I thought about it for a second, because O'Brien actually beams them down to just like a predetermined set of coordinates where he thinks the colony's going to be. And when the camera backs out, we see a giant crater. Imagine if he beamed them down to the coordinates that were in the middle of that crater. They would have materialized in midair.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
That's...
Well, they do
Yeah,
have
that's
scanners
fair.
on there.
See, the thing is, they have scanners, but surely they would have noticed the city isn't there anymore if they used them.
Right.
It's not exactly subtle.
O'Brien
Look,
says, yeah,
it's
I
right
beamed you down
there.
to the center of town. That's not the center of town.
No.
He just used some predetermined set of coordinates that were in the computer. He didn't bother to engage the scanners.
It did that video game thing where when you enter invalid coordinates,
Do
it
not
just
skip.
teleports you to the next pathable spot.
Do not skip intro.
Do not skip intro.
Here.
No matter what DB says,
Can't trust
don't
that guy.
skip it.
Oh, DB with his jokes.
Yeah.
His
Hey
intro
guys.
skipping.
Hello.
Hi, Fiddle.
Hey, nice to see you all. I heard about this episode. Not spoiling it, but Patrick Stewart, he famously describes how, because it was a two-parter, which we wisely chose to watch with family now. And the summer of, you had to wait for the show to come out for the season 4 part 1. In fact, interestingly, on Amazon, the two episodes are part of season 4. No, actually, that's wrong. So I had to just click an extra thing on Amazon. So this woman pulls up to Patrick Stewart's convertible and says, "You ruined my summer," because it just ends with the card.
Oh,
Just ends with the card.
I remember watching this when it first premiered with my father. That was our thing. We watched The Next Generation. And when
This was in 1990.
in 1990, I was 7 years old, and I remember when part 1 ended and it said "to be continued." I remember my father slamming his hand in the chair, going like, "Damn it!" and leaving the room.
he
This was the
swore
first
about
episode.
my Star Trek?
First two-part episode in the history of Star Trek. Well, besides the pilot of the Menagerie, which wasn't released, but
Well, the pilot episode of TNG air as a two-parter?
oh, that's true.
I remember the.
And the
first
cage
time
was
I-
originally just a one-parter.
Season cliffhanger. Sorry, Harmonix, what were you saying?
Sorry, I was saying that some of the first times I've watched TNG, I've gotten goosebumps.
I think you might be right that this is the first cliffhanger. I don't remember any others. See, I don't
Season
remember any other
cliffhanger.
cliffhangers now that I think about it. Season cliffhangers, yeah.
Yeah. True.
Do we ever do
but,
that?
It's
Voyager had one, didn't it?
Voyager has one.
Oh, there's more
Dang.
cliffhangers in TNG.
I think Deep Space Nine has some cliffhangers because it's like the beginning of the Dominion Wars. What, the very end of season
Right.
4?
Yeah.
Was
A couple 2 and 3
was the
parters
line
in DS9.
Galron, the leader of the Klingon empires of Changeling, was that a season cliffhanger?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was Martok was the changeling.
It is, but at first Odo thought it was
Very proud
Galron.
of her.
There's your favorite character.
She's great.
Some kind of defense strategy. She's not even a full commander. She's just a lieutenant commander.
So season 4 of TNG ends with a cliffhanger, Redemption and Redemption Part 2. That's the Klingon Civil War.
That was great.
Season 5 ends with a Time's Arrow cliffhanger. That's Data's head in a cave. And season 6 is Descent, which is the return of the Borg.
And they go down to take an away team of 10 people, right?
Yeah, the return of Lore too.
The return of Lore, and it takes place in the Power Rangers headquarters.
That's true.
Target brand mug in the background still.
Oh wow, we have that means still season 3. 4, sorry. But so the show's really hitting its stride because if you notice, in Deep Space Nine, Cisco hits Captain, and also Burnham hits Captain. We find out. Never mind.
Nope.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. So,
Next week we can talk freely about Discovery. Next week.
When we watch Discovery, we'll talk about it.
Forget I said that.
You're killing us.
So,
You're killing us, buddy.
The thing is, though, I didn't realize it was Lieutenant Commander Shelby. I mean, I think I promoted her to Admiral in my head, but she's one of these conflict females. She's a great character. She's acted amazingly. I never appreciated acting so much as I did here. She does a great job. I wish she came back.
Sorry. That's a good scene.
Oh yeah, we have a lot of good Admirals YouTube account. We have Admiral Ross, who is, he's mostly good.
Oh,
we have
Admiral Ross is evil.
We have those admirals from DS9 who approved the plan to retake DS9. There was a whole table of admirals who were with it. There was the Admiral. Oh, I know her name.
Chayev.
Fleet Admiral Shanthi is who I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Her too, but Fleet Admiral Shanthi is who I'm thinking of, who approved the Picard's sensor net plan to capture the Romulans. Catch the Romulans, not capture. Just wanted to say hi.
Nechayev is kind of ambiguously good, like Ross is.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nechayev. She's kind of rude to Picard, but she's just trying to She's just trying to follow the rules.
I have no idea what's going on.
So Nechayev is trying to move Indians off of their new planet. That's not great.
Yeah.
And she orders Hugh, right?
What are you guys talking about? There's no Indians
She does.
on this.
No. Okay, right. So, no, meaning the Maquis settlers, the Federation citizens, the Federation abandoned. I don't mean to get political, but the Cardassians wanted those colonies. The Federation wanted peace, so Federation wanted to evacuate the colonies.
Yeah.
But they're built on Native American culture. That's why he called them Indians.
Yeah.
But they were not.
Also, don't worry, you can definitely get political as long as you agree with my No.
They are referred to in the show.
What
it is
referred to in the show as North American Indians.
Yeah.
Right, they are. And so Ryan, do you support the evacuation of the Maquis colonies?
The evacuation of the. I mean, evacuation, yes. Forced evacuation isn't.
Is this the second poker game? Yeah.
I don't think this is the second game.
It's really cool how they let her play because they show here Data still doesn't get it.
Or does he?
He's schooling Crusher too.
Time for the long pants. Wait, what? Is that a saying? Do people say that? It's time for the long pants. What does that mean?
I don't know, but I feel like I want to use it now in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is he implying that Wesley's pants are usually too short for him, metaphorically? Or is he telling Wesley to put on, like, pants so long, metaphorically, that they go past his feet? What long pants? How long?
I think it's a reference to going from something that's informal and fun to something more formal. Like, you better be ready to do business.
I think he's just intimidated.
Yeah, from kid shorts to, like, grown-up pants.
Scene number 1 of Shelby surpassing Riker, and him being uncomfortable with that.
Wow.
Oh, look, that's an Excelsior class.
Well-timed reaction on Shelby's part.
No longer flaps. The flaps have to get shorter. Just get rid of the flaps.
He just needs to hang from the ceiling.
Thankfully,
Surprising,
however,
I
Wesley
forget
doesn't
that.
actually have flaps anymore. That was just season. That was most of season 3 and all of season 2, but they're gone now. No flaps.
Oh, yeah, and no mini skirts either.
I love
Sure.
how
In the
LaForge. I love how LaForge, when O'Brien said that it was on her authority, he turned around and shook his head like, "What the fuck is she thinking?" Like she
Oh,
already
yeah.
knew. He already knew.
I mean, they have Data. So, I mean, this is as interesting of time. I have an observation about Data. I would never disrespect Data. Okay, it's my favorite character in all of fiction across space and
Out of
time.
fear or out of
That's probably-
respect?
Adoration is the correct term. So he's so but when I was a kid, it was just like my favorite. I just need they even have an episode, Hero Worship, about a kid who loves Data too
No,
much.
it's not.
So
Yep.
it's about this kid who's orphaned, and so he just reacts to death by becoming Data, or like anyway. So
Yes.
but the thing is
I'm
though, I
following you now.
often sorry, what was that?
No, I was just saying I was following you now. I missed what you said before that.
Right. So technically, okay. So I've analyzed Data, and I don't want to disrespect him, but I often think about being a playwright, like writing drama, being a dramatist, or
Hey, Shelby
screen-
just summed up the answer to your question. So can we move on to the next one?
who killed.
No,
the,
you have to rewatch this episode and look at Shelby's lines. She answered your questions. It was like really weird. Can we just
About
can we
Data?
just move on to the next scene? Yes, she was talking about Data, and she
Wait, what
made a
did-
terrible joke. And so next scene.
Data
please.
made the joke. He said she erred.
I'm not going
and
to
then before
repeat
you
the
go on.
lines that I saw on the screen. Ryan, can you help me out here?
We can move on. We can move on.
I mean, she mentioned Data. I don't know if that was specifically addressing Fiddle's comments about Data.
Well, I would agree with whatever she said. So keep going. There's too much to handle.
We can move on. I'll make this point later. So
We have plenty of time to make this point.
earlier in the
There's
neutral
no
zone,
rush.
also we had
We can't
destroyed
tell
Federation
spoilers,
colonies.
so I'm not going to tell spoilers. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil anything either.
So yeah, we did have the introduction of the Borg kind of in the neutral zone. Yeah, they mentioned that certain colonies had been scooped off of the surface, but they never solved it until now.
And
That was the
Shelby
episode where they
completed
met the
that
Romulans again.
scan with Data on the surface right now and confirmed it was the Borg. She's
Yep.
the Federation's expert on the Borg.
Did Picard just swear on my Star Trek?
This
They
scene's really
offered the
amazing.
Melbourne.
Yeah. Being
He
offered
doesn't
this
wanna
ship is
take
really
it.
amazing. Because it shows like the characters can move on or move up, like the same way Saru and Burnham. Never mind.
Yeah,
So
I don't know those people.
No Discovery Season 3 until next week.
sorry. So, but the thing is,
just
though,
no
it just
discovery
shows-
whatsoever. Just avoid Burnham
I'm sorry,
and
I'm sorry.
crew.
I
I
mean,
will
we have
adhere
to
to
speak English. There's people
regulations.
here who want to follow along. I mean, if you can talk around me, that's fine. But like, as long as the audience can figure out in the end, that's really all that matters.
Yeah,
Nein,
it's
wir,
probably advisable
wir
that
kann
if you're
Deutsch
not-
sprechen. Deutsch ist gut, ja.
It's probably advisable that if you're not a Star Trek fan who hasn't already seen these episodes, don't watch with us because we're.
Yeah, this really is not intended as a first viewing. Just
Thank you for saying that. I think that'll get them to calm down.
we're totally allowed to spoil anything before Discovery Season 3. Anything before that is fair game.
Okay, I agree. So in here, though, it's just a recurring theme about Riker's promotion. Because even at the end, right,
Mhm.
he gets the Titan at the after Nemesis, which is
Yeah.
the movie series, right? So he still stays
And he swoops
on.
in and saves the
And
day with it.
Oh yeah. And so this episode just shows,
Yeah.
like, in other words, the show could have gone a forking point, and any actor kind of like may outgrow a role and whatnot. So it's really amazing
Well,
how
I mean-
Shelby taunts him. Good.
Weren't they in the middle of contract negotiations when they
Yeah.
after this aired?
Patrick
They weren't sure
Stewart
if Patrick
has
Stewart
told-
was going to come back.
Yeah, they
Well,
has told that he
we
wasn't
just
sure if he was
finished
coming
contact
back.
negotiations.
Yeah.
So it really could have gone either way.
You missed the boat.
I mean, I would have been okay with Captain Riker.
Would have been all right.
We all love Captain Picard, but Captain Riker's pretty good too.
Our number one Shelby. But
What do you want?
it was really well
Yes.
because if you imagine it when it was done live, you could easily, like, for example, I remember like 2 weeks ago when we were watching Deep Space Nine, Cisco tells Nog you're jumping the gun by wearing the uniform. How is Wesley wearing a uniform here?
Oh, Picard
He's-
last week made him a full ensign.
They couldn't fix his
Field
in
ensign.
this scene.
No, he's got a field commission. Yeah, it's a field commission of ensign, but that's still a full ensign.
It got rid of his
A full
flaps.
So he has a real pip.
Oh yeah.
Isn't the Enterprise the size of a neighborhood?
Enterprise is 1,014 people, and the ship itself is about 700 meters overall.
It's real big.
It's huge.
72%.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
a
so
beautiful
people have-
day in the Starship
99%.
neighborhood.
People have
Yes.
shown the number of people on the ship in relation to the size of the actual ship, and you could fit everybody roughly within the main shuttle bay of the Enterprise D. It's not.
Just
It's
spent them
not
all out
that,
at once.
It's a lot of empty space on that ship.
So
Yeah.
a point I forgot I wanted to mention earlier when Riker was talking about, like, yeah, the Melbourne's a good ship, but it's not the Enterprise. I'm really curious if he would accept another Galaxy class or if it has to be Picard's Enterprise.
Mm.
I'm not sure.
Like,
It's the
yeah, the
class of ship
Yamato
that
might have
matters.
What does he
does.
actually want out of a ship?
To be a flagship, it wouldn't. I mean, they didn't even give him. Anyway,
Flagship
It's
probably
true.
has the shinier
nice.
version of everything on a standard Galaxy class.
Probably.
To be fair,
It has all the options.
yeah, full luxury kit.
It has the
Yeah,
wood
that's
paneling
all
on the bridge.
You don't get carpet on a standard Galaxy bridge, man. You only get carpet on the Enterprise. You see that
No,
wood
but you know
grain?
what,
It's
though?
Elsewhere, like
exclusive.
hardwood, I take the hardwood floor Galaxy class over the carpet one.
Well, keep in mind you don't have to clean it. The robots clean it for you.
Exactly.
it's up to the captain.
So we're investigating a distress signal.
No, guys, the carpet's important. If you're ever
Cube-
in like
cube
a
shape.
submarine situation fighting a
Hang on.
Romulan
JDM, JDM, it sounds like you're speaking, but you're extremely quiet.
Sounds
think
like
you
you're
need to
far
kick
away
JDM.
from the microphone.
I mean, you sounded okay before. I just can't hear you now.
He's talking about being acquired as an entrepreneur and being
No,
on
he
the
just
NASDAQ.
told the whole plan. I'm sorry. Sorry,
Yeah, I
it's just
heard
hard to
NASDAQ.
like.
He's on the phone
navigate.
with
I
someone
was
else.
trying to sum up this meeting. Okay, so they just went over the whole plan against fighting the Borg. I'm
Right, and sorry, I just want to say in the scene before, Riker yelled at Shelby because they were staying up late and she was making it work too hard. She said, "Oh, can I stay up with Data?" He goes, "No, you need to go to sleep too." So most of this episode is Riker yelling at Shelby, in their relationship. But sorry, Harmonics, what were you saying?
You're talking about sleep.
Yeah, like
We're going to be talking about sleep next episode.
What were you saying, Harmonics? In this conference room, what did they decide?
Well, it was hard to go so fast, but they
Admiral Hansen
they were
was on the
talking about
phone.
how they can't fight fatigue when they're fighting the Borg.
Right. And also, Admiral Hansen says we're at Wolf 359. That's where we're making the stand. That's a real
Yes.
star system, by the way.
Oh,
We have pictures.
Thank you.
Oh, I never knew it was real.
Yep.
Yeah,
Everyone,
I think it's right after Alpha Centauri and how close it is. It's like the third or fourth closest star system to us.
take a moment to appreciate this music. This is the last episode we get custom music per scene.
Oh.
Oh, really?
It's
they just-
generic background
Wow.
music from season 4 and onward. This is the last time this right here.
Strings go crazy.
Last time.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Now this choir here, or synthesized choir, always added this spooky moment here that was really ominous and scary.
There was like a chorus, right? Like a Gregorian church chorus almost. Yeah, you're right. Listen for
It's
it.
not. I don't think it's real. I think it's a synthesizer.
I think it is, but it still has the effect on your soul.
I think
Oh,
it's
sure.
a real voice that's been synthesized.
Yeah,
I've joked a lot of times before about,
No, it's
like,
not
oh, we're getting the
synthesized.
spooky music on the show. But that was some proper spooky music.
Yeah.
You're just
That was
so
real
used to hearing a
spooky.
synthesizer that when you hear like the natural strings, you think it's electronic.
No, that's not strings. That's
Yeah.
a chorus.
Or auto-tuned, for
A
lack of a better
chorus?
word. You know, they just anyway.
Trust me,
Auto-
the guy who did music for Star Trek: The Next Generation is well known for using Roland synthesizers throughout the show, and that's what that is.
Oh, cool.
Oh.
I hear the synthesizers, but I'm saying you're saying the choir was even the human voices were synthesized.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay, thanks.
you can tell
So
the
if
difference.
I think
Case
he's
Chisel in the
talking
chat-
about a previous episode, is what he's
Oh,
talking
previous
about.
episodes, perhaps. I was just talking about the Borg theme there that we just
It's a very
covered
unique
over
effect here.
Case Chisel in the chat pointed out something that I never noticed, that the guy who plays Admiral Hansen, George Murdoch, was also the god from Star Trek V in the center.
The god of Shakari.
Oh,
Wow.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Shakari.
Yeah, you doubt me.
So what I'm
Oh, there's a Borg drone walking around in the background.
So in other words, he was an admiral and he really got promoted then to god. I'm modeling mutation. Captions on my Netflix just said
This is what God needed with a starship. He just needed one. He just wanted to hang
I don't
out.
see any change in my voice in the last 6 months. So when you guys talk about this stuff, I'm so confused. So
The
can
way
we
she
just-
looks at
Can we just
Riker
wait
right
till
there.
next week to talk about it?
Like we said earlier, Harmonix, this is not for people who are first watching Star Trek. If you want to see this stuff, you should do it otherwise.
Yeah.
Okay, that was clever.
This is
Try again.
about my favorite.
Dude, we've made this clear before, and you're actually being kind of rude, stepping on other people and telling them stop talking about this. That's not what we're here for.
Okay, I'll be quieter.
You can talk about, anyone can talk about anything they want. Oh, that is a way too vague of a rule.
Yeah.
go with. Perhaps that should not be the rule.
We've
Okay, I'll just say Wesley looks good in that uniform.
He looks way better than in his season 2 uniform for sure.
Who said that? Who said
Yeah,
Wesley
but-
looks good? Get out. Get
Bye.
out.
come on,
He
he's
hasn't got any
handsome.
flaps in this one. So.
I
There are
like the
lots of
pip.
girls who had a crush
I like
on
the
him in
pip.
this series.
I like the pip.
Audience, that is.
Oh, is he gonna do the roll?
Oh yeah, we're getting a roll.
I like the pip.
So Wesley Crusher. Oh, well done, Jordy. Well done.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
the
that could've been
seal
dicey
there,
right there.
because the
I
door
used to
seal is
do-
really
I
going to
used to
work
do
through the
parkour,
carpeting.
and even just a roll like that could
It's
hurt
special
the
carpet.
shoulder.
So is
if
that
you
the
know how
little
to,
forge
distribute the
maneuver?
weight. I mean, you're essentially moving your entire body weight, which is about 200 pounds, and it's easy to pinch yourself on the ground.
It's the future. All the carpets have Dr. Scholl's pads under them.
I would be happy with calling that the LaForge maneuver. I think that's fair. Or the Jordy maneuver.
I like that. Good.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, going back for a moment to how Wesley looks. Wesley, his uniform, his uniform looks a little too big for him, and he looks like he needs to still dry his hair. It looks like he just got out of the shower.
Yeah, he's got a lot of product in that hair.
The
But, okay,
uniform could
this-
have just been oversized costume.
This
that
whole
is.
episode, his whole job is just to look stressed and like keep typing on the keypad. He just like gulps and like sweats and looks up and down and like he's not anywhere. It was really, I can see why he left the show, just because
Because they didn't give him a proper fitting uniform?
Well,
Yeah,
sometimes
he
I have
wasn't-
to say things at a certain time, and it sounds like I'm trying to talk over you or interrupt you, but I'm just trying to get a word in edgewise. So
But-
no, I'm not trying to offend anyone.
All good.
We have I think we're over 12 people at this point, and
We have a lot of people in here right now.
there's going to be a lot of talking over people. That's just going to be the nature of it.
I'm
But
like
this
the
is a very
only one
popular
who's
episode too.
Yeah.
everyone's polite too.
Everyone got things to say about this.
Music, the strings.
Now
on
it's time
edge,
to start talking about turtles. I want to talk about them now.
So now
Is
the
that
Borg are going to
the
start
feature
firing on the
effect?
Enterprise.
Yeah, that's a nice color there.
That looked like
pink
the
and purple.
feature
I've
effect.
never seen that nebula before.
Never?
Completely new.
You never even saw it in one of the old Star Trek movies? It wasn't there?
Never once.
Wow.
I like that
Or the
shot.
space
Speaking-
station that they use
Get Riker's head
constantly from the
position.
same movie.
Speaking of special effects, though, there are
Yo,
some
Rikers.
things because the next
Lazy
generation
boy.
was because the next generation was recorded on actual film, not
Right.
digitally. They have been able to go
Remilling.
back and revise some of the special effects with modern computer animation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that whole effort is the reason that we're probably not getting DS9 in HD anytime soon. It was so expensive they lost money on it.
They just got
But
AI
it's
upscale
still-
it.
even for what we left behind, probably cost them a crap ton of money, and they did like 5 minutes of redo.
Yeah.
If I become a multimillionaire one day, I'll pay for it myself.
Bless you, sir. Doing God's work.
Bless you, sir.
In the extremely unlikely event. But, you
I
know,
will pray for your
hippie.
incredible success so you can do the work yourself.
Glory to you and your fandom.
Okay.
But you have to have the
It's true,
crazy
but
eyes if you ever
when
say
you-
that.
Who needs Paramount Studios when you have Ryan's edits?
Glory
Me
to
and
you
my-
and your bank account.
What do it's like $200 a month from the YouTube channel. That's probably enough, right?
We'll get there someday.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay.
But you'd have to be an android in order to live long enough to reap the benefits.
I mean,
No,
how would,
we'll
Ryan? Okay, how would you feel if somebody got on here and just tried to ruin the show? How would you feel about that? I'm not. This has nothing to do with me. This is a hypothetical question.
And if someone was trying to ruin the show, I got this ban button right here.
Yeah, he has the power.
Oh, I see.
I do like
It's
my ban
easy-
button. I haven't used it
It's
yet.
easy for him to. It's easy for a moderator or a host or whatever to kick anybody from the Discord or kick anybody from the YouTube.
Oh, actually,
So-
I have banned one person from the YouTube chat. It was one of the really early live streams, and they just came in and they were trying to just screw with people.
said, like,
Can
you
we
suck.
talk about
No.
Brian's Esper rating?
I hate you so much.
Listen.
Yeah,
I'm
I can
sitting here
mute people,
saying
I can
that.
kick people, I can ban people.
Okay.
You can deafen people.
Yeah, I never knew that that Patrick Stewart was actually in debate of whether or not he would return to the show in real
Oh, yeah.
life. I always thought that that was just a stunt that they quote stunt that they
We're
did in
learning
writing.
more about the Enterprise in this scene.
Halt the
Well-
turbo lift so that you can have
she
a private
halted.
conversation.
How does it? Yeah, she like in the beginning, right? Hansen says, "Let her
I
do
need
whatever
like
she
I need
wants."
like a button that I push before I have something to say, because it's like the same time I want to say something, somebody else is at the same time saying something else.
That's just the nature of having this many people, my man.
What are we learning in this scene in the turbo lift?
It had to do with
See,
the last scene.
This is
And
this
that's
is
why
why
I
I
was
don't
trying to
like
get it in
her.
the beginning.
You can talk about the last scene in
This
this
is
scene.
why I just sit here and talk shit about everybody.
She looks so short compared to him in this scene, even when they cut from one to the other singly.
Is that height difference real or is that a camera trick?
Oh,
Jeez,
I think that's
huge.
real.
Both.
Yeah,
It's
Sphinx
both.
is a giant.
That's an insult to call it real.
Frakes is a big guy.
I really enjoy that scene. Just she really gets under his skin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she continues the turbo lift against his.
Is Riker correct here, or is he on a bit of a power trip about, don't you talk to the captain without my permission?
I've always wondered
Possibly
if that's,
both.
I've always
She did
wondered if
ask
that's-
him. He said, "I bring all the alternatives to the captain," and then apparently,
Does he, though?
we don't know if he actually brings it. No, he doesn't.
He's
Well,
only
after she
62.
talked
He's
to
not
him,
that tall.
after she talked to the captain, he had no need to bring it to his attention.
Yeah.
I
The
mean,
captain
so
ordered him to keep it as a bypass plan, and he wasn't happy about that.
Technician's uniform.
We're given the
This is
impression that
straightforward.
Riker is actually going to the ready room to talk to Picard about that very thing when he gets there and Shelby's already beaten him there.
Yeah, that's why I like
Okay,
Shelby.
I can see that.
Yeah.
No, Shelby's
Oh,
great.
Guinan just sitting in the corner.
I can see it. And
What
by the way,
was-
they do separate the saucer section from the star drive later on in the second episode.
Yeah.
So her plan does come in dandy.
Also,
was
this scene,
Guinan
we
doing?
have an intake for this scene, very important. Where, what even is Guinan's line there? Something about the gerbil
It's
well.
accurate.
She wasn't eating. She
Oh,
wasn't
she
drinking
goes,
anything. She was just sitting there.
Yeah.
She was hanging out like a Cardassian operative.
I think she says expletive serves the gerbil well.
That sounds right.
Little do you know, Guinan was on the Trafalgar also. Or was that Trafalgar also?
Yeah.
But he might have been.
Yeah, really.
She's just on every ship that explodes.
That's an interesting phrase there. It's a conceit, but it's a healthy one.
Emperor Honorius.
Reminds me of the line
It's true.
from Gandalf, there never was much hope, only a fool's hope.
See, they don't know if the Federation's about to
Picard's
collapse
right.
at this point.
Turn the page.
Turn
Well,
the
I mean,
page.
Guinan knows the Federation's not going to collapse.
Yeah, but she's cheating.
True.
Well, she
She's
doesn't
using
have
space
future-
magic.
We don't know.
She doesn't
that yet.
have future knowledge. She just has
she
her
does,
own
actually.
experience.
She has future knowledge because of the Mark Twain episode.
Yeah.
True.
Captain Picard hasn't
okay.
gone back to meet her in the
True,
cave
true,
yet.
True,
Okay,
true,
so
Future
she
Picard.
has future knowledge, but only because other
She
characters
knows.
gave
A
it to her
millennium.
through time
That's
travel.
a long
Yes.
time. Maybe we could get
Yeah.
something done in that
But-
time.
Her people were destroyed by the Borg, so she's also acting with apprehension over here. Like she's not an unbiased observer.
Are the Borg using depth charges?
Basically,
Yeah,
yes.
basically it's a submarine episode. Yeah.
There's
Thank you.
Good thing
Oh,
they got
forgot.
that carpet. Quiet
Welcome.
their footsteps.
Now, someone mentioned this a while ago, and I've never been able to unsee it. How does the carpet go from the bridge into the turbo lift with no brakes?
They built. Oh yeah.
It's
Velcro.
The, future.
The
It's
carpenter-
future, so it's magic.
Future carpet. Yes, future carpet.
The carpenters were
same
just
way that-
that good.
By the way,
Glassdoor
we see
feels that.
we see a new turbo lift system in Star Trek 2009 or one of those movies, Kelvin movies, which shows that the whole entire of the ship is a chasm, which is a very interesting waste space. But
Was that in 2009 as well? I don't remember
Yes,
that.
it was.
No, it was in.
Oh,
Yeah, it was in 2009 briefly. It's not not very long.
Okay,
but we
cool.
do see that the turbo lifts are basically flying through a bunch of empty space in the Enterprise.
And Discovery Season
That's
2.
true.
yes, of course, Jason. We all, or Jaren, we all know the line "Ajnaj turbataluk, Ajnaj gimbatul, Ajnaj throkataluk agburzo mishi krimpatul." Everybody
Sound
knows
the
that.
Borg makes when they're orgasming.
That's the ring.
Yeah, that's the one right.
Yeah.
Is that Siddig's other name?
Yes. Siddiq Ajnaj turbataluk,
Oh,
El Tahil El Fadil gimbatul.
shoot again. Damn it.
Why is Worf the only person with a phaser on the bridge? Everyone
only
should
one
be
even-
armed.
No one
He's
is
the chief of
acknowledging
security.
them.
Hey, he is security, so he has a reason.
Heil Hitler.
And-
Look at that. This-
Even
this
Janeway,
show
like,
is
pulled
just
out-
So racist.
Even Janeway pulled out a shotgun when people were like on the bridge.
All right, the Borg are gone. We can relax now.
No, I noticed when Worf tried to shoot that Borg and he did the force field, there was a reflection of the Borg on the force field. That was some nice special effects work.
Yeah.
It's pretty good for 1990s.
I mean, this is one of the
9-0.
season end two parters. So I mean, these are the ones that they go full out on.
Oh.
The special
Riker
effects
looks-
depend. I think Netflix has the Blu-ray remastered cut if you're watching on Netflix. So I'm not sure which set of effects you're seeing.
Oh, Riker looks tired. You see the bags under his
It's not that
eyes?
great for you.
Oh wow, yeah.
In HD, it kind of sucks.
Did they
I think
actually
all the streaming
remaster-
services are using the remastered version.
Aaron's
Are they?
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Did they actually remaster special
Well, you need-
effects that appeared on the inside of the bridge? Like,
I
I thought
don't-
they only redid the outside stuff. I could be wrong.
I have no idea.
I was unaware.
I mean, the
there was
original
any,
series is more obvious, the upgrades.
Oh, yeah.
I
You know, it's
recently
like-
watched a side by side of the original effects on TOS versus the remastered. Oh my god, the original was awful.
No.
Like there were some points where they green screened in the Enterprise and like half of the nacelle was missing because they messed up the chroma key. It's like how what is happening?
It was good. I don't know. Anyway. We wish to improve ourselves. No, I mean, because I had a television that it had the bunny eared antennas, and it was from the '60s. You had to rotate the wire, the knob. There was no
Sure.
remote control, and so you got the reception from Connecticut. And I watched the original series on a 1960 television for the first time, and so it was
Death is
just
irrelevant.
It's so great to watch old special effects. There was nothing wrong with it. It was very with the film and everything, it was great. I would not say you needed to upgrade that. It was kind of an unnecessary expense. It's better spent upgrading Deep Space Nine and TNG.
I mean, all I've got to say about that is I disagree. I think it really needed to redo the effects.
I like that when they redid the effects on TOS, they still tried to keep the spirit of the originals.
Yeah, they
tried.
tried.
It's cleaner. The effects are more, obviously.
They still have the Enterprise flying about looking like it's hanging on some wires, but it just looks cleaner.
Like it's got that lean forward as it's moving at warp. It doesn't quite look right, but it's in the spirit.
I agree.
Well, that's true in every Star Trek show. They're all wearing pajamas.
But they look so. Actually, those don't look terribly comfortable. No.
Technically, the last two series have been a onesie.
It's a question. Does anybody know what the actual costume material was for the uniforms?
Polyester.
No, the first season was spandex. This season is not spandex. This season is like.
I don't know if it was 100% spandex. I think it was a mix. But if you look at the women's uniforms, they're still wearing those. The women, anyway, wear the one piece, whereas the men got to wear a shirt.
Yeah, well, that's just more flattering.
Yeah, she's wearing spandex, but yeah.
Probably some polyester.
Acrylic canvas. Sorry, I keep speaking over people.
Since we officially now have Captain Riker of the Enterprise. And, maybe we'll get Captain Riker for the rest of the show. We'll see.
He hasn't actually had the field promotion yet, though, right?
But he is the captain anyway.
He's in command.
Yeah, he's acting captain.
He's the captain, but he's not a captain.
He has the con.
What's the con anyway?
Controller. That's the big wheel that used to be on a ship, like a pirate ship or whatnot. That's the con controller.
Because on
basically it's the seat where you control and it becomes a seat in our naval understanding.
Oh, there was another outtake there. I haven't done it yet, but where Worf, when he's handing out the phasers, messes up his line, and he stumbles, just give me those back, and he takes all the phasers back and walks out again. That one I need to get.
I can't wait for that one.
I've seen that one, yeah.
There's no time for jokes.
I love how they're sending the chief medical officer on a combat mission.
Well, it's very. I mean, what if she needs to roofie some Borg? She roofied the captain a couple times.
They've been on a Borg cube before. They know that they'll just kind of ignore them unless they start whacking them with something.
Yep.
Are the Borg letting them on?
They always do that.
They always do. Yeah.
The Borg have no sense of security.
It's not worth resisting them until they're actually actually doing something physically.
Yeah, we saw that in Q.
They're on the Borg ship right now.
Yep, it's part of what makes them so scary. They don't even care.
But they kidnapped Captain Picard with their shields up, so they wouldn't even think that they're gonna do a counter reconnaissance mission. We just kidnap and just leave our everything anyway.
The Borg are lazy, is what it is.
Is that back one a mannequin, or is that guy just blind?
That's a good point.
It looks like a guy.
Yeah, we visited a Borg cube in Q Who, season 2 episode, I think.
With almost the same team. Yeah, they've all been on here before.
That was the episode where we saw the Borg baby.
Yeah, it's the maturation chamber.
This is before all the Borg ships had green filters on all the lights too. If you look at the lighting is still
now is really important.
The Borg aren't on brand yet.
Yeah.
They don't assimilate knowledge of brand color schemes until they assimilate Captain Picard. They'll get to that later.
Yeah, actually that's true. So we don't find out how the Borg reproduce, and then that's when Worf says he has become a Borg.
So assimilation is a new concept in this episode.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's taken for granted in
hang on, 100%. This is the first time we hear about assimilation?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I never.
Previously, they were only interested in technology.
They had Borg born as infants basically before. Now we know.
So here's Wolf 359.
We never see the maturation chambers again. It's a waste of energy.
That's true.
Oh, we see one. We see one in Voyager. Exactly one maturation chamber.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's I think it's that episode with the future Borg. I think it's called 1.
Or even in vitro, right? So in other words, they
They deal with more Borg maturation chambers later on in Voyager as well when the children Borg show up.
But do they mention them, but do we actually see
assimilated.
one?
Yeah, because there's a baby in
all
that
the
episode.
children have adult bodies at the Borg. You know.
Well, so in that episode, we see a baby Borg that's dying because they can't control the cube correctly, and the
Okay.
one.
Ooh, it's nice and folded.
I thought this was going to be another. I thought this was another baby shelf for a second.
That's what I
No,
thought
it's a
for a
uniform.
I was definitely
Thank
expecting
you.
the baby.
They
The one
disintegrate.
teenager Borg tries to save the dying baby, and he can't. So that happens in that episode. So there's
The
more
Borg?
than one in Voyager.
The Borg must have assimilated someone from Abercrombie and Fitch the way they folded the clothes. Put it in there.
Wolf 359 is a red dwarf star located in the constellation Leo near the ecliptic, a distance of approximately 7.9 light years from Earth. Apparent
Yep.
magnitude
It's not
of
far at all.
13.54.
Yeah,
Since Centauri is 4
very
light
close.
years, so 8 light years is great. Not bad.
Wolf 359 can only be seen with a large telescope, so that means not to the naked eye.
Okay.
Oh, that one's
But
green.
It's close though. It's right around the corner. It'll only take us 8 years at the speed of light to get there.
It's real close, but it's real small and it's real dim.
So has the resident
It's real far.
Esper weighed in on whether or not she can still feel Picard? Has she ever said anything about the Borg?
Oh yeah.
I need to make ESP ratings a bannable offense.
What did you say, Ryan? I don't understand that.
Well, this is just vandalism now.
Esper ratings come from the original series very early on. As a matter of fact, the second pilot, and Ryan hates them for some reason.
I just want to know if Troy can still feel Picard. I don't think she said anything like in 20 minutes.
I have a grudge against anything that implies that humans have magic psychic powers.
Yeah, I guess I'm with you there.
I think we should impeach Trump.
I think
That's
we
already
do have
happened
psychic
twice.
powers.
I'm pretty sure. Good news.
I think we should
How,
impeach
how about the Esper and Blade Runner? You offended by that?
I've never seen Blade Runner, so I have no comment.
You
I assume it's
haven't
awful,
seen
though.
Blade Runner, that's a bannable offense.
Should we have a Blade Runner watch along?
Yes.
Should.
Sure.
We should.
But you have to
Because that
watch-
movie's so
For that.
boring, we need Ryan and 12 people to watch along. Yeah.
But you have to
We-
watch the final cut version.
Just the way they cut the camera there, it kind of looked to me like Crusher was aiming at Shelby,
Got him.
just from the camera
Crusher's on
cuts.
the-
I wouldn't blame her if she did.
Here he comes. Okay, they gotta evacuate now.
Dr. Crusher. Okay. Thought about. Okay.
We knew this would happen.
Elizabeth Dennehy,
shot.
Elizabeth Dennehy, the
Okay,
actress who
Picard
plays
is
Commander
captured.
Shelby,
Captured by
is
the
5
Borg.
feet 6 inches tall. Jonathan Frakes is 6 feet 3 inches tall.
Okay,
I
so a
think
difference of
he's
9
tall.
inches. Wait, why does Captain
camera,
Picard have ab armor?
Yeah. The
Why does he
ab
have visible-
plate is that.
They actually
still
gave him
not-
surprisingly little on his shoulders.
Oh, he'll get more in a bit. They just haven't fully armored him up yet.
All right, bring Worf back
Well-
to the Enterprise.
What you don't understand is that, back in the day, they assimilated some Vikings that had ab armor.
Okay.
Good
They
good
thought it
day,
looked good. Okay, I
everyone.
get it.
Sorry we didn't bring Picard back.
Yeah, she
So-
does apologize for it later.
So I go on sometimes about, this person has a terrible outfit. I actually like Captain Picard's Borg shirt there. That looked pretty good. Not the armor stuff, the actual shirt he was wearing.
I love it.
Yeah, he's
There's
special.
nothing I don't love about these 3 episodes. If anybody
Just the
wants to
black
say they don't like
knit
something,
shirt.
they're gonna have to go through me.
That's good. This show is so good.
I want to agree. I'm just agreeing, Ryan. I'm sorry. I spoke over someone. You were saying something right
I
after
don't-
Ryan.
They're not going to be able to bring Picard back.
And he's already a Borg. What are you going to do?
This is
Like
the
Riker has like a
exactly
glint in his eye from the
the,
crying.
the series finale right here.
Worf's crying.
Well, he's been taken over by the
Everybody's
Borg.
like crying.
Oops.
Yeah, now Shelby's getting kind of out of line here, just trying to go around Riker. Like, no, disobey Riker's orders, contact Starfleet. No, you can't do that, Shelby.
What are you
She's
gonna
done
do,
that
strangle her?
multiple times. That's why I don't like her. She keeps trying to go around Riker.
Oh, you got to see
Yeah,
the
but
black there.
there's a difference between going around Riker to captain on the same ship and going around him to someone like in a whole nother system that's completely uninvolved.
I'm
I
getting
think.
goosebumps.
I mean, it's okay.
They
we
have
don't
an
have to talk.
existential threat. They need to get the captain back. We should call the admiral.
Now, I'm not convinced that Picard's vocal modulation here makes sense, because usually the Borg vocal stuff is because there's a bunch of them talking at once, but this is just Captain Picard.
Well, they
It's
intentionally
just the one
pulled them
guy.
in to be like the mouthpiece for the Borg. This is their first time using a single unit to speak for the collective, so they're probably winging it.
Riker just ordered Captain Picard to be fired upon.
Yep.
And it also makes sense to what Riker is doing right now too, because even Admiral Hansen later is like, he's not assisting a Borg; he's a casualty of war. He's
right. He's an enemy traitor, basically.
All right, so with the massive amount of people we've had and the relative short length of the show, if we want to talk about anything from the first part that we weren't able to get to, this would be an opportune time.
Also, reminder for people on Netflix, if you click the next episode button, it automatically skips the recap, so you're going to have to go back to 0.
Yeah, we're including the recap. Don't skip it.
Thank you. I hate having to say that.
Thanks for those technical tips.
So, is there anything any scenes we want to go back to from part 1?
I was almost crying.
Part of the reason I like Shelby is because she's such a well-acted character. Even when before she walks up to Data and tells him to, adjust the phasers really quickly before they can adapt, you can see in her facial movements, like she's acting like she just thought of it right then. And when it's done, she's like, "Fuck yeah," in her expression. I don't know. I like the way she's acted. It's great.
This is the leading expert. She just figured that out.
And I think K Shizzle in the chat pointed out earlier that Shelby shows up as a character in the New Frontier novels, which are probably some of the best Star Trek novels that you could find out there.
Okay.
I don't like Star Trek novels.
She's the XO, right?
Yeah, she shows up as the XO on the Excalibur, which is the starship of that series.
For the purple-eyed guy, yeah.
Yep, it's a really good series written by Peter David, who is famous for writing lots of different things. And like I said, I don't particularly like Star Trek novels in general. Those are really good.
Okay, well, I'm glad you like this, because that's a real compliment.
I read one Star Trek novel, a Next Generation one called Here There Be Dragons. And it was about this almost like fan fiction. The author took a semi-ancient German town and put it on another planet, and then the Enterprise got into this nebula kind of thing and found this planet. And then at the end of the episode, at the end of the book, they had to go away, and the nebula closed behind them, isolating the planet forever. I can't remember where the dragons came in.
Was this original series or the Next Gen crew?
Next Generation.
I was going to say, because this sounds crazy enough to be one of the ones that Shatner wrote.
I need to read the Shatner novels.
I don't remember the plot at all.
One of the few Star Trek novels I read was one DS9 one, and it was based around Bashir. But I don't think I got 20, 30 pages in. It was so terrible.
I haven't read any Star Trek novels, but I kind of want to read one of the Shatnerverse novels just to see how absurd it is.
I've read the Shatner one.
It's absurd.
Shatner actually has, I doubt anybody remembers this because I don't know if anybody here is as old as I am, but Shatner actually has his own science fiction series called Tech War.
Tech War, yeah.
I remember that.
Is it awful?
Yes.
So lame.
Okay,
But
let's do a Tech War watch along. Hang on, let's see if it's on YouTube.
It's gonna be a read along.
There's actually
there was a TV series too. It was not very long lived, but there was also a TV series.
Oh shoot, yeah.
That's right, there was.
And there's a video game based on the book series.
There's a series of Q books, and in the Q books they actually explain all of the God from Star Trek V. They explain the madness that occurs when you cross the external galactic barrier, and that Q caused the comet that allowed humans to rise.
On Empire. Yeah.
I'm not seeing William Shatner here.
Collapse of the Deccan Empire allowed basically our galaxy.
In Tech War, it's totally his.
But
yeah, it's like
if it directed by William Shatner, I just would have expected him to be the main character.
He's in it on the TV show, but I don't know who he plays. I have honestly not seen it since it aired, and I don't remember.
I'm just scrolling through on YouTube.
It looks like they wanted Sigourney Weaver for that one role, but they didn't get her.
He's like 91 and he's still.
Oh, there's William. Hey, Bill.
That keeps him young and healthy, just like Generations. He's still flipping pancakes at Ryan Organs.
And chopping wood.
All right, let's get on to the next episode. 1 minute countdown. Next episode, of course, is Best of Both Worlds Part 2.
Now,
Best
does
of Both
this one
Worlds
still
Part 2.
get the good music.
Part 2.
Yes.
Should
The
do.
strings go crazy. And
This is the
Marty
last time. Then.
talking to us.
Yeah, we'll get rid of the custom music after this.
The shot of Picard in profile with the reveal when that he's a Borg, like stuck in my head from when I was like 6 when I saw it, when it aired. It's like I still freak out a bit. It's such a good shot.
He's already got a strong profile.
God forbid.
The acting is great, like the peak of his career.
Now, JDM, what do you mean we hated your voice? Get back in here. Also, press play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play.
He's muted.
You abandoned us, JDM. We miss you.
I'm crying.
He's on the phone. He's muted.
Pew 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 pew.
We have engaged the Borg. The wedding will be Friday.
The meaning is lost.
It's nice to see those up close shots of the cube. I remember seeing these on TV first, and it just looked like wiring. Now I can clearly see it's rusty metal.
Looks pretty good.
Where? There's no rust on the screen.
Next time they show the close-up shot of the cube, you can see it just looks like plumbing and like boxes.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
It's space oxidation.
Heil Hitler.
Wait, hang on. That is actually a thing, isn't it? Or
Oh, yeah, it's a
space
thing.
Radiation will degrade metal.
Yeah, it will. Now, I just noticed that the Borg, the regular drones, they're wearing a green undershirt, not the black.
I used to have a problem with my voice, but after just talking and talking and talking, it kind of worked itself out.
Voice is fine.
Thank you. I hope I try to be nice to listen to.
Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong
Ryan's
with
is
the audio. It's
very
kind of quiet.
It's a Borg turtleneck.
Yeah.
I don't know how the larger Borg cube is made, but I do know that in the episode Q Who, where we first see the Borg, they made the section that looked like it was repairing itself out of sprues from model kits, just sort of glued together, and then they shot it with a heat gun so they would melt, and then reverse the footage.
Oh, cool.
That sounds about right. Yeah, it's a good effect.
I like how Patrick Stewart had to target the camera lens with his head laser.
Yeah, he's totally screwing around with it at that point.
No, there's a whole reason why they do that.
Why?
It looks spooky.
I tried to explain it last episode. There's a possibility that we're all interacting together.
Wait, hang on. Was this the plan the whole time? It takes like 7 seconds to fire this thing.
Yeah, they slowed it down to be able to do this.
Figures.
Oh, sorry. They had to slow down the firing process in order to pull it off.
Well, for people who don't quite follow the show, it's like I don't want to give away the secrets of the show.
Let me get ahead of that right now. They're going to recapture Picard. He's going to tell Data to sleep. That he needs to sleep.
That Trump is real.
Make them sleep.
Sleep, Data, and then Data's going to send him to sleep, and they win.
Data,
There you
why
go.
aren't you at Ops? Data, you should be at Ops, not that one ensign.
But he looks so dramatic standing up like that.
But Shelby has been at Ops this whole episode.
Wait, who's that chick at Ops?
That's what I'm saying.
It's like you're telling me to shut up, then you're telling me to talk. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm just gonna do what I want, and you guys can kick me off if you hate me.
Like you.
I don't actually know what you're referring to.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan, when when you rewatch this episode, you'll know exactly what I'm referring to.
I'm gonna be honest, I've never rewatched any of these. I just.
Oh my god. You have to. They're so funny. I love watching all of us chat and laughing at how terrible I am. And that's why I get better. It's because I see, like, okay, I can do this a little bit differently.
Half my Trek trivia is wrong, so I'm pretty funny too.
Trek trivia's been pretty spot on today. It's just been it's been a slow start.
And that's why you always have Memory Alpha open.
Yeah.
That's playing on easy mode.
Do you think we actually know what we're talking about?
So Star Trek has earned over.
You do.
This is like over 10 years ago, so it's probably more. But Star Trek has earned over $1 billion in revenue for Paramount Television. And these two episodes that we're watching, Best of Both Worlds Part 1 and Part 2, basically save the entire franchise. Because you could easily see the first 2 seasons, like this show could have been canceled anytime. Certainly the first season.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that this show like created so much excitement and buzz, like literally the cliffhanger that we just saw, where Picard's now a Borg and Riker fires on the thing. So without this episode, there would not have been Deep Space Nine. Quite likely, there would not have been Voyager, or Enterprise, or Picard, or Discovery. So just this is the classic, like a television show, TNG, but this is the most classic episode of the most classic show, like this era, 86 onward.
Mm-hmm.
Peak Trek.
Mm-hmm. And Patrick Stewart's acting is at his stride.
Wait, there's a party?
Very, very short party.
Yeah, Admiral Hanson's ridiculous over here. He's referring
Shots
to
fired. It's like
the
they're
Battle
making
of
fun of our
Saber.
show now.
So
They're allowed to make fun of the show.
Commander Riker wants to join Wolf 359 eventually. I'm always unclear on how long space battles in Star Trek are supposed to last, like in canon. On screen, they last like 30 seconds. But then people show up to a ship that's been sending out a stress call for like 3 hours, and they're fine.
Most battles we see are only between a couple of very small amount of ships. The only major battles we see are kind of thrown off kilter because it's in Deep Space Nine and they suicide.
I think
so.
The
That's
best,
not a fair.
I think the best
Well, he said the only
battle
freshman to
scenes.
come up to an academy situation.
I think the best battle scenes are in the Kelvin movies.
The Battle of Chintaka took 2 episodes. Without commenting on whether that was the best or not, I grew up with it, so that's the best.
The specific one I had in mind was when Gul Dukat is fleeing with the Detapa console from the Klingons. And he's engaged with the Klingons for a long time before the Defiant shows up.
Yeah.
And he just has the one ship.
They are actually usually pretty long battles. The shields will last a long time. I think they just sweep here because the Borg are just super powered.
Yeah.
The shields last exactly as long as the plot needs them to.
Yeah, that is essentially what
So-
it boils down to.
And
So the
be
shields
down 55%.
themselves have plot armor.
Yeah, the shields are the plot armor. They're part of it.
Oh, that's
Are-
a thing I want to talk about when we talk Discovery later.
Season
Are
3.
phasers an acronym? And if so, does the P stand for plot?
They're more like an anti. I mean, yeah, I guess so. You could interpret them as a plot
Plot
device.
hashed lasers. Okay.
Yeah, they're phased something blah 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 blah.
It is not a
basically-
direct
It's
acronym.
the Enterprise's way of saying "shut up and listen" when they do a phaser.
Lasers are different because I think, what was it, the Outrageous Okana episode? Worf says they're locking lasers onto us, and like
Give that
the-
man a bionic
lasers
arm.
can't even penetrate the regular shields. Or
On
whatever.
navigation shields, don't they know that?
Yeah. There we go.
Oh, they're reading your mind. That's how you read somebody's mind, right there, everybody.
You stick an LED in
An
their ear?
idea.
It's one of those
It's not
telescoping
in his
car
ear.
antennas.
Yeah, you're
It's
right.
in his temple.
Oh, they just turned them pale. It was just a switch. They just had to flip a switch.
No.
Oh, it's the nanites in his blood. Oh god.
Oh,
that
Patrick
he's sad
Stewart's
Picard.
acting is also lifeless.
Aw, now he's crying.
Acts like a complete lobotomized zombie. So
When I
he's
saw-
amazing.
When I saw this on TV, I never saw that tear before.
Yeah, me too. It took until the
I've only seen-
remasters, I think.
I saw it the first time.
Now, was that a real tier or a special effect tier?
It looked
took
like
them
a special
30
effect
years to
tier.
make this show.
It's a real tier.
Well, what's the difference? You mean they put eye drops in them and let them flow out?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Worf, what do you mean?
CGI.
Honor and courage are your greatest advantage. Those are not going to help you against the Borg. They do not care.
Mark,
Yeah, but
he's
we're
wrong.
still going to say that.
No, he's just saying that none of the Borg have honor or courage.
That seems like an advantage for the Borg, honestly. They'll do anything to win. They feel no fear.
I mean, you're right, Ryan, and we admire their persistence.
I think admiring them is irrelevant as well. There's,
Oh,
you
is it
don't.
now?
They don't.
irrelevant.
They
If
don't
you
have
say
any
so.
courage. They just do what they do.
I mean, that's your way of seeing things. How is that not courage?
In this episode, when we see the shot of the Borg cube by Saturn when it enters Sector 001, I just imagine how I'd feel if like the news showed like we have a Borg cube put next to Saturn, and then I just imagine panicking to freak out.
I'd say the Borg aren't courageous in the same way that like a hurricane moving toward a coast isn't courageous. It's just doing its thing.
It
doesn't know any different.
Don't have fear.
Is there a way to
That's basically
disable
what it is.
chats on Discord
That-
while we're doing
That's a
this
really
show?
good way of putting it.
Chats on Discord, like private messages, or the main general chat?
Just like shut down the whole server except for the voice.
You can either right click on the server or on the specific chat and
Okay,
then
I'll do
mute it
that.
for forever, an hour,
Just
8
do
hours, or how
mute-
long you want.
Mute channel for until I turn it back on.
Yeah. And that extends to both your computers and your cell phone app simultaneously.
Yeah, I think the mute option is literally at every level too. You can mute individual people, channels, entire servers. I think it goes all the way.
Oh, Riker and Shelby are getting
Be sure
along.
to
That's
check it
nice.
After the show, that's for sure.
I think
So-
Riker's mostly getting along with Shelby a lot better here because now he's the captain and he doesn't have to. She can't go around him.
That's a nice save. I think Riker just saved her just now.
Hypothetical here. What if
think he's
Patrick
coming
Stewart
over there.
had left the series? Would Shelby have
Oh.
become the first officer?
I
in
think
the
so.
series from then on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not for lack of lobbying for the position.
Or also,
Oh no, I just
wasn't
saw
the plan
Jennifer
to have
die.
Patrick Stewart back on possibly as a like recurring bad guy?
Wow, that would have been wild.
That'd have been something.
Yeah.
He'd be like the Borg Queen. Even if they destroy the Borg cube here, he just shows up again anyway.
That would have been interesting.
So
We
he would have
would-
been at the end of Voyager.
We would look
you know,
at
making
him
out with
today.
Janeway.
We would look at Patrick Stewart as an actor today in an entirely different light if
Yeah.
that had been the case.
I
Yeah,
mean, they might have still
You know-
de-assimilated him after like a season or something, but
it's really amazing the show took this arc. Again, I'm being a little bit more meta over here, commenting on the series, in the sense that like they had the all good Federation and they set up the ultimate bad guy, and the fact that this comes up later in First Contact, so they literally and First Contact did really well as an action movie. So it's just you got peak writing,
First Contact
you
was
got
awesome.
peak acting. Jonathan Frakes directed First Contact. Troy said she liked how her character was able to be a little bit more funny. With all the drunken scenes with Ephraim Cochrane. So it's just really amazing how much good came out of this 2-hour stint.
I'm thinking about the show Star Trek Picard, and if that still would have worked if Patrick Stewart stayed as a Borg. I think it might have, because he just would have been one of the XBs at that point. He probably would have been on that cube that was disabled. He would have been the artifact.
Which character would the Star Trek Picard series be about then, if that had happened?
It would be about Picard. It would just be...
Just
That
10
means-
hours of grown Picard wandering
Admiral
around.
Riker.
Yeah, you can't just run a starship with one person.
It would
One
be a
thing
show
I-
about dealing with massive psychological and physical trauma.
One thing I would have loved to see, and I don't think we've seen anywhere in Star Trek, is how the Klingons would fight the Borg, how the Romulans would fight the Borg.
Okay, this is a key plot line here.
Mhm.
Nor do you ever try. Okay.
I think that
Continue.
would have been really
Please.
interesting to see how the different cultures would have fought the Borg.
This line from Captain Riker here. I can take over for him, but I can never replace him, nor would I ever try. That's occurred to me many times ever since in real life. You know, as something has to, or someone has to take the place of something else or someone else.
Yeah. I use the line
That's
from
Crystal.
Star Trek 6.
I thought they destroyed it on Risa. I thought that was the same prop, is what I mean.
Oh.
Same material. It was similar.
We have
I
a
never
better
really
look at
noticed
it.
that before.
Okay. You're right.
I don't think they're the same
I think I might be wrong on that one.
Captain
What
Guinan.
they should have done, though.
In Star Trek 6, Valeris tells Spock, I can only succeed you. So the same thing is like, I can't replace you. I'm only your successor. I definitely can't replace everything that you're doing. So
Until
it's
we
a good,
do
humble
replace
way.
Spock 2 other times.
Until they don't have replacements, they only have successors.
Somebody
That's what
should make memes here of Guinan as the captain sitting in this chair.
Oh, that's so sad.
If we get any shots from behind Guinan, I can do some overlaying of audio and make it work. I don't think we will, though.
Can we get Wesley in the captain's chair?
We have to let go of Picard.
I don't want to let go of Picard. We love Picard.
Yeah, this is some real talk she gives in over
The
here
other
too.
Picard.
There you
Like
go.
we all carry on this image of Picard.
There we go.
We
There
have
was
to
one.
shadow the idol.
So
There was
someone pointed out on Reddit about this scene once. Guinan's given Riker this pep talk, but she totally knows that Picard's coming back.
My impression of him,
But
She came up to
none of the
him on a date and she asked him to give him a kiss. He totally knew and saw a look in her eyes that she was going to give him a kiss.
Now, hang on though.
That's
When,
not what
when
it's
she,
based on.
you're
It's
just
based
ruining
on
the moment. I mean, just watch the show and be part of it. Don't ruin it for everyone. We all know.
We're just
The-
doing the meta here, dude. There's a whole bunch of stuff ahead of this that talks about it. Points out that she already knows Picard is going to rescue her in the future. So like,
So, she
However, nobody
doesn't seem to
knows
be
that.
implying that she's telling Riker to rescue Picard. She's just telling him to kill Picard, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah,
at,
sure.
at this point in development, I don't like. This is before the episode where they established
Oh, yeah.
that she knows Picard.
Oh, yeah,
So
the
when
writers
she's
don't know
being
that.
Directed to act in this scene, she doesn't know that. Nobody has written this down anywhere.
Yeah.
Unless I'm very wrong.
Right.
unless
no,
writers
that's
were
not.
that far
But like
planning.
in the larger picture of canon,
Yeah.
Guinan
Right.
already knows.
But even if you want to give that though, like in other words, like the character itself, universe consistency, because we watch future episodes, she is saying though, she's the one who's giving the idea that Commander Shelby should be followed more because Picard knows all your battle tactics. So we have to like
Throughout the book.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Riker did the Picard maneuver right there as he left the room.
It's very important.
Also, he sat down in the ready room chair normally instead of the leg over.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Reminds me when I get promoted to supervisor, I gotta stop horsing around.
Didn't go so. Okay, what kind of ships do we see here? Those all look like kit bashers. Those don't look like the standard ones we see.
Yeah, is there a Star Trek channel that goes over all the ships here?
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, in this one they
Super
actually
Bowl,
use.
something like that?
I remember
Maybe
from
it's
that
junk-
channel.
Like
they use
junk
a
ball
lot
or
of,
something?
like
Junk
conceptual
balls.
ships. So a lot of the ships that they like, oh, here's what the Enterprise D might look like. Well, we didn't use that, but we're gonna use it here.
As a destroyed
Oh
ship.
yeah, that makes sense.
So Shelby just said
yeah, go ahead, dude. You're gonna
The
say what I was gonna
Melbourne.
say.
Shelby says the Melbourne, which was Admiral Hanson's ship. So we assume that he's dead from this point forward, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's
And
dead.
Admiral
he never
Hansen is
occurred-
gone.
And he
The
never
Melbourne was also the ship that Riker was offered command of.
he
Yeah.
never occurs again.
Right.
In fact, that ship
Rest
that
in
was
peace.
on the far right, you could like see half of it. That was one of the concept ships for the D.
Okay, we'll have to go back and get a still frame of that
And the Saratoga was here, which Benjamin Sisko was on at the beginning of
Yes.
Star Trek DC.
Oh,
right.
wow.
Is Jennifer alive? Is she alive?
Well, kind of.
She's as alive as Admiral Hansen is right now.
At least one Jennifer is alive, but, you know.
Jennifer Sisko, sorry.
It's fine. We get Mira Sisko. She just completely replaces her. We don't need the original.
Which ship was Cisco on again? I can't remember.
Saratoga.
The Saratoga.
Yeah, Saratoga. That's right.
It's upstate New York. It's a battle during the Revolutionary War.
Saratoga, which of course is captained by Captain Martok.
Oh yeah, true.
As a Vulcan.
Look at that view screen there.
Vulcan
in the special
Vulcan
edition
Martok.
view screen.
Yeah, did we ever see a screen like that?
Oh, wait. The Borg Queen in Voyager has a little one.
Yeah, she has this like rotating thing that comes down from the ceiling she can look at stuff through.
Is it a physical thing, or is it because that just looked like a screen in VR?
I think it's a screen that's like projected out from the physical thing. So it's a fake screen.
Battle Bridge.
You know, I just realized that if the Borg invaded like Cardassian Empire or maybe the Romulan Empire, and they said, "Oh, we've selected you to represent us to the Romulan Empire," they probably would have committed suicide, like right at that point.
Yeah, true. With their fear of artificial intelligence.
Well, not only that, but you know, like Admiral Jirok had like the suicide pill or whatever, and you know, just in case they get captured, if they know that the Borg is gonna like probe their memories and like gain all their experience and all that, they would probably commit suicide right there.
They just go, "Nope, I'm out," and take the cyanide.
Yep.
Oh, why is this so low resolution?
Whoa,
oh, they didn't get the original film for that shot.
That's strange.
Did you guys notice that?
And now we're back.
Yeah, they just lost that one little thing. I don't know why they did that, because, I mean, Riker wasn't saying anything. They could have just used a generic establishing shot.
Had to be true to the original. There's no white skin paint on Picard's hair, and it's all I can see when they look at him.
I'm thinking more about how other cultures would deal with the Klingons. I imagine the Klingons, they would just start ramming cubes.
We know the Dominion definitely would, but I bet Klingons would too.
The Klingons, they do suicide, but I think they only suicide when they're already about to blow up.
Would it be below a Klingon general to say, "Hey, it looks like suicide is the only way to beat this enemy. Let's start building drones," or do you think they would stick to flying themselves into it and then just destroy their numbers?
Well, it wouldn't be suicide to the Klingons. Probably it'd be sacrifice.
But if that's the only way is to sacrifice a Klingon, would you think they'd look other way?
Well, that's just torpedoes with extra steps.
Yeah.
There's also there's also the big picture strategy problem with that Klingon strategy, that even if you take the entire Klingon battle fleet and ram it into one cube, it probably will not make a difference. And so then what? The cube assimilates their home planet anyway.
And I don't think we ever see anything ram a cube.
I've been overthinking this. They would probably just find a way to turn a warp core that's about to breach into a torpedo and just shoot warp cores at it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I would think too. Yeah.
Isn't that just a big torpedo? Because the regular torpedoes are also just antimatter.
Why has nobody ever developed that weapon anyway?
Or they just use like tricobalt, like they did on Voyager.
Could we get the Xindi in here and make more of those planet-killing devices? Aim those at the Borg. Can we get some Xindi Death Stars to blow these up?
It was like tricobalt, and then it was going to go warp into a planet, right?
Or just a Genesis torpedo. Shoot a Genesis torpedo at a Borg cube.
That starts growing plants all over it.
Moist ship.
Borg assimilate cacti.
In Q-Who, the Borg, they take out like a sliced ice section of the Enterprise D.
Yeah.
Like a core sample, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
right.
was a really scary shot too.
Yeah,
You
it
think of
was,
all
it
the
was.
people who died in that,
As
in
a
that
kid.
vacuuming to space.
I
There
remember
was-
that. Yeah, it was very graphic.
Somebody in YouTube chat was asking about Borg snow fights. Did somebody mention that?
Snow fights, like snowballs.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
I don't know about
don't-
snowballs, but the only time I have seen Borg in the snow, they didn't do too well.
No.
I don't know. It seemed to work out for him in the end.
Well, in the end, yeah.
Borg snowball fight.
But I guess that was only when they got taken out of the snow. So yeah, snow is their one true enemy.
They lost that fight.
Instead of using phasers, we should just be throwing snowballs at him.
Nobody look about the difference in color in his hair.
Ice balls can kill, by the way.
Yeah,
Why would his hair color change anyway? I mean, it doesn't have any skin
The
tone
thing
color.
is that the hair color didn't change, but the hair is so like faint that you can see his scalp under it, and it's just completely skin tone.
Oh, now I get it. Okay.
Okay.
It's like, oh no, we can't dye his hair. Well, we just have to not do anything. Uh-oh.
Oh, there goes the shuttle.
Oh, Lieutenant O'Brien did it.
He's so good at that.
Yeah,
He probably
beaming people
does
in
a
from
fist
nothing.
pump.
I should have started a counter of how many times we see people beam off things that have already been destroyed.
Yeah.
Find
That's
find a
another
picture,
classic Trek trope.
like O'Brien doing a fist bump or something.
And now they're just staring angry. They're just glaring at each other across space. The battle's not over. You can still keep shooting. What are the Borg doing?
Good question.
They lost.
Like you
Picard,
can't
they
have
can
the king in chest.
just blow them up. It's fine. Yes, it is a sitting duck. That's a good observation, Wesley. The Borg should
Does
destroy
the guy
them.
on the right get any other lines? That was his first line, I think.
And they left. I don't know. But as long as he got his one line and he got paid, he's good.
I like spotting characters who only get one line, but it's just enough. It looks like they fixed his hair because the lighting was better here, but now the hair looks slightly off.
Yeah, Riker's hair is messed up the whole rest of the episode. Now that you're actually noticing it, I'm starting to think that it's intentional because obviously, right, they're all tired from fighting their old captain and stuff.
That is
Grieving
fair
and
a little, but I was talking about Picard. The white skin makeup
sorry.
stopped at his hairline, and you can definitely see it on the edge of the makeup there. But like, it looks like they fixed it for this shot, the laser.
Okay, I'm still looking for that.
Oh, laser there on her hair.
Yeah, I saw the.
I don't think they're going to show him from that side.
As soon as when that laser was showing up, I was just very concerned that he was accidentally gonna like blind Gates McFadden with that thing. Just do not look over at her. Need to be careful with those lasers.
I like the remote control motors that they put on his costume suit here.
That's baller.
That was a really nice touch.
They're very good effects.
You see it in the first shot of him when he's on the view screen. I am Locutus of Borg. Like he's twitching with the little antenna.
Oh, his ab plate is sort of falling away from the rest of his armor there. I guess that's for flexibility.
Never.
Yeah, like the two-piece stormtrooper armor on the front. So how's his hair look there?
His hair looks. There is a little bit of difference in coloration along right by the edge of the hair, but it looks okay.
Yeah, it does. It
looks
looks
right.
like the makeup in this shot was touched up, but that's probably
Yeah.
because it's in white light.
It's a
as
close-up,
opposed to
yeah.
Borg stuff, and it's yeah.
That was also strangely comforting how he said, "There is no need for apprehension. I intend no harm, no harm." And so he's just going to be passive and communicating here.
And I feel like we shouldn't trust that.
I like that he referred to Riker as number one, but Beverly by name.
To me, that no harm just showed that Picard is still in there fighting the Borg, because
Ooh,
that's what I got from it.
I like that. I like that a lot.
I like that
Yeah,
too.
yeah, I like it. Yeah.
I never thought of that.
That's canon now. I don't care. That makes it way
Heard it
better.
here first, folks. This is the place to get all your Star Trek series and canonized.
This is where you get all your headcanon. All your headcanon verified or validated, whatever.
We're multiple
Let's see if he
people
stutters
saying it, so that makes
again.
it true.
Because we never see anybody else de-assimilated until Annika Hansen, 7 of 9.
Mm-hmm.
And then a buttload of people in Picard.
Yeah.
They're all kind of wonky.
It's kind of understood though they're export, because I think Janeway destroyed the whole collective, right? So you have nothing but export.
Oh yeah, I have
No,
a feeling
she
that
just
the
killed one
collective being
queen.
destroyed like that would probably have some effects on too.
So the Borg and Picard, they're a lot more like I would expect 7 of 9 to be after having been assimilated her entire life. But she was
so like the first
she was
couple
fine.
episodes.
Yeah, but she was fine real quick.
No,
Well, she had
like
the dog.
she called love a disease, with Harry Kim once, so like she's still, I mean, that's not fine, right? Like you're still, irrelevant.
Oh,
That's not how you talk.
It looked like they replaced Picard's laser there with a little small regular flashlight instead, because he was aiming it at Brent Spiner's face.
It was
I
Patrick
wonder
Stewart
why.
just being like, "I'm shooting you. I am shooting you."
That's the little predator targeting system. Makes the little red dot.
Your Borg. Now your Borg. Haha.
See, like
Nah,
in the
he
next
had his
episode-
Borg-proof shield on.
In the next episode, family, Patrick Stewart cries to his brother,
Yep.
Robert, saying that they forced me to do things and kill thousands of people, because technically the whole battle of Wolf 359 is Locutus's fault, aka Captain Picard. Well, I mean, we're not blaming him, but we just
It's not
watch
Captain
it.
Picard's
We watch
fault.
the event.
He is
Locutus's
like
fault.
he is
Captain-
there experiencing it as the collective though. So like he was on the front line as much as he was standing in the back cube.
And it's
Right,
pretty natural
right.
for Captain Picard, the character, to have at the very least a survivor's guilt, if not a unwilling contributor's guilt.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
He thought he should have been able to prevent the Borg from using him, and he wasn't. He keeps saying over and over, I wasn't strong enough. I should have been strong enough.
They
Right.
had Beverly step forward just to cover the shot of him covered down.
And so you see all that difficulty in the acting that Locutus is doing.
Wait,
You know,
what room are they in
just
right
to-
now?
This is the one where Lala was made. Cybernetics Lab.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is this his own room? Because I feel like we only get into here like 2 or 3 times. It would be a very underused set.
It looks like it's totally a redress of the astrometrics or wherever Picard meets his girlfriend.
Out of the
Commander
Yeah,
Darren?
yeah.
tertiary little
Yeah,
room.
yeah, where they're doing the experiments and he turns on the lights and she's like, who the hell
This
turned
is
on the
totally a
lights?
redress of that set.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's colored circles on the wall
Science
too.
Lab
again.
4 or something. Yeah.
Having studied astronomy and done some astronomy, I can assure you that people turning on the lights is really annoying. Don't do it.
If you're,
It takes like 20 minutes to get your night vision back all the way.
and that's
Troy
the,
had a
and that's
line
the
yet?
least damage. If you're an astronomer and you're taking night photography,
That's
in a,
why we don't have fighters.
Yeah.
you're taking night photography of the sky in an like in a park somewhere, and somebody with a car turns on the flashlights to turn on their headlights, they've just ruined your entire night's work by overexposing your film.
Yep. I've got where I am is reasonably dark, but I have to be careful when I go out to look at stuff, because I can look at stuff from like my driveway. That's fine. But if I move too much, my neighbor's floodlights are aimed like directly at where I would be looking from.
Oh, great.
So I can either like drive 2 hours out to a dark spot, or just be very careful about staying away from the motion sensor.
I always imagined that the wires here going to Data's head were fiber optics.
Yeah.
I don't think they are either in real life or in the story. But
Like, by the way, you remember that toy, which is like a little flashlight with the strings coming out of it?
Yeah.
I mean, technically, that's fiber optics.
Oh, yeah.
So, you got light traveling through a thin plastic filament. So, it is.
I mean,
it's like light through
probably
a filament.
probably in canon, it's some kind of like isolinear wiring, isolinear optical, whatever.
Electronic, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice close up there of Data's head apparatus.
So why did
They
Troy?
did a great job with Locutus in space.
Why did Troy what?
Why did Troy just step up? She said Data, and she looked at Picard, but then it focused on Data. So was she sensing something from Picard, or was she concerned about Data because something was happening?
I always interpreted that as her being concerned about Data, just like worried that he's overloading something. I don't know that she felt anything.
I always interpreted it as that she felt Picard there at that moment.
That's why I always
Locutus,
thought
yeah,
too.
no. Maybe she's reading Locutus
Stop.
at this point.
Stop.
Data is struggling. This is such an intense.
Jesus.
I just
rip
picture
that
him
out.
doing that scene. Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
Do not have Data strangle Captain Picard and break his neck.
Not breaking necks right now.
So the Borg arms they're just interchangeable apparently. They just come right off. You put a different attachment on.
They've had those
Depends on
a
it.
couple times where they attach something onto the arm.
Depends on what they give you to start with, I guess.
Do you have to start with like a really basic tool and you have to work your way up to the fancy stuff? Is it like
Picard's a
Mandalorian armor? You have to earn your medal?
Picard's a level 40 Borg, so he gets all the legendary armor.
Oh, well, I always thought it was they just picked whatever random stuff they had available at the time, the Borg in the story that is, and then whatever you get, you get.
Did she just define
Sorry,
this as
don't they
first
also say?
contact?
She's fighting back.
Yeah, like we lost him, so now we got him again.
Yep, now we have Captain Picard. We had Locutus, now we have the Captain.
The last time I was on for the Deep Space Nine episode, they have the Bajorian who's living in the settler life with Shakar, and he has one arm or like something from the old settler days.
Yeah.
So someone said to him, "Why don't you get your arm regrown or something?"
Just get another
Federation
arm.
really has easily, yeah. Federation has like Luke Skywalker arm restoring technology.
It's in
Picard,
prosthetic or regrowing organic?
Regrow organic. No, I got
Regrowing
his
your-
leg grown back.
yeah. Oh, thank you for bringing up Nog. You know how people love the Nog plotline? Like I think in the documentary "What You Leave Behind," they even the actor who played Nog, rest in peace, he talks about how so many veterans went up to him and said that like his acting helped him get through his own post-traumatic stress situation. And so this is also a post-traumatic kind of thing because as a soldier, as a full officer in Starfleet, you did put your life on the line and to go be assimilated and come back.
On that same point, that's one of the best uses of Deanna Troi. I think it's in the next episode. Or at the end of this one, talking to Picard. This is definitely something you should see a psychologist about.
Oh, I'm sure he does. And it's also something that he's forced to live with for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they never really bring it up in his future encounters with the Borg, except for First Contact. But in TNG, it's never brought up again after family.
For contact, he says he hears them every once in a while, like when he's sleeping and stuff. So it's crazy.
And that Wi-Fi 6 must be good.
How many G's are they using?
7.
So there's a lot of G's.
They're
That's a
using
lot.
47 Gs. If you pay attention to the show,
47
if you
Gs.
didn't know, they use the number 47 a lot, and it's on
Yes.
purpose.
Good call.
I love the rainbow beam.
Why 47?
It's
So-
something that one of the writers likes for some reason. I forget the exact reasoning, but one of the writers has a special affinity with the number 47 and puts it.
So yeah, here they're going to try a ramming maneuver. I mean, they're not going to, of course, because we still have like 3 or 4 more seasons to go. But
There's a
That-
heading in Deep Space Nine that it's like Mark 245, Mark 359 or something that shows up like 40 times.
Did you see the look? Sorry, Wesley made when he was like, "Go ram the ship." He's like, it's like,
Oh,
I
he
hate
doesn't
this
want to,
job.
but he knows what
When can
he
I
knows
get
what
off
he
this
needs to do.
show? He's like sulking already. But also supposedly the actor is like now being asked to I'm too young to die. But Wesley, shut up and ram the ship.
Yeah, Wesley's willing to do it, but he ain't happy about it.
Wesley should have just
Nobody-
went to the academy like he was supposed to. And
Well, that shot there, you just saw the name Enterprise inscripted on the ship right up next to the main deflector on the side of it, on the side of the hull. I never saw that there before.
So about Wesley, there's also the fact that Wesley, he's not just being asked to go down with the ship. He's the one who has to actually pilot it and kill himself.
And everyone else.
And everyone he loves. Including his mother, who's on board.
Has that honor.
Yeah, I gotta say, if I was Riker, I probably would have said, Wesley, stand up, and just done it myself.
Picard does that, but Riker hasn't thought of it yet.
That's actually a pretty good idea that Riker would have done that himself.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Oh,
So
we
that,
did it.
No, all these other Star Trek channels do a rewrite of the episode. That's
Wait. Have you been watching other Star Trek channels?
No,
Oh,
I've just been looking at
cheating
their
on him.
headlines. No.
He's been looking.
Data
Have you been
is hearing,
Have you been seeing other YouTubers?
No.
Data
Somebody
is
else will let
hearing
me on their podcast.
Data in his head is hearing every Borg on the ship snoring simultaneously.
Yes, it's very soothing. A nice humming sound.
Maybe make sure you turn on the Borg Cube white noise machine.
So this is the classic Death Star, like one switch destroys them all. Like, we do it later also with the in for example, Phantom Menace, they turn off all the droids on Naboo. With the shield barrier. Chintaka system, the same thing. They have like one power source for
all the defenses hidden inside an
orbital,
asteroid. Yeah.
Orbital batteries. Yeah, exactly. So, and also in Game of Thrones, spoiler, last episode when Arya kills the Night King and all the zombies die, or the Night Walkers.
Oh yeah.
It's just like a weird way. I mean, it's the most fictiony way to kind of beat the enemy.
I feel like Star Trek is more clever about how they do it, though.
Yeah.
Like forcing in Chintaka, they make all the weapons arrays target their own power source instead of just shooting it themselves.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they could not just tell the Emperor to sleep. That wouldn't work.
The self-destruct sequence here does not make sense to me. Why would everybody on the ship going to sleep cause the power feedback?
Maybe the Borg don't believe in any kind of automation, and nobody was managing the warp core, whatever they have.
Yeah, didn't they like rig up something in here? Or
No, it just blows up on its own.
Convenient writing.
maybe
Come
it's
to think of it, that's this lab here. This is the beginning of season 3, which is also the season where we get Lal. So that's why they reused this set here.
Because they had it.
It's kind of funny. The Defiant was created to defeat the Borg, and it was small and maneuverable and quantum torpedoes and all that stuff. But the few times the Borg ships were defeated, it's never by throwing weapons at it. It's always stuff like this.
I mean, they blew it up straight up in First Contact.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, but they had somebody's like.
The theory is though they let them blow it up though because they wanted to beam over and while their shields were down. But
I love how Beverly says, "Oh, we'll have no problem getting rid of those implants." What about his missing arm?
It's fine. She can just regrow. We established this. Don't worry about
It's
it.
inside the thing though. The thing is not is long enough that there's actually his whole arm is there.
Yeah.
We saw them just put the thing on the arm.
Yeah, it was always clear to me that they never removed his arm. They just added that.
For me, it looks like they remove his arm and then just add the attachment.
Now, why is Captain Picard here not wearing a silver catsuit to regenerate his skin?
Because he wasn't assimilated in childhood.
Oh, okay.
But you know,
I believe that is the explanation too. Like he was not assimilated long enough to actually need any of that stuff.
And just like that character in Metal Gear who breathes through her skin, so she's not allowed to wear clothes.
So yes, obvious sexist bullshit aside.
Yeah.
I mean that is clearly the reason that Rick Berman put 7 of 9 in that suit. He wanted something that evoked the male gaze, but in this case, I believe that the agreed upon justification, it's not necessarily canon, is that fans say he just wasn't assimilated long enough, and that he doesn't have a cortical node either. So
I'm wondering if you can see on the stream, my screen has changed. I'm looking up to see, is there any Photoshop of Picard in the catsuit?
I mean,
this moment here, where Captain Picard just says nothing and does nothing, he just is almost about to drink the tea, then he puts it down and he has this thinking moment, and the whole rest of the scene and episode is him not talking. This always was really meaningful for me, and I always wondered what he was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking there at Earth and he's thinking, we came that close to being obliterated, everything.
I always felt like he was very isolated there, because you have this small frame of the window that he's in.
Yeah,
literally no human in existence has had the same experience he has.
I think that part of it too is that he was
except Annika.
Prisoner of war survive. Yeah.
I think part of it too is that he was dealing with he just spent a few minutes keeping up the front of Captain Picard in dealing with Shelby and Riker and the business of the Enterprise, and suddenly everybody leaves the room, and now
back to work.
He has a second to stop and not have to put on that front, and he's just sort of dwelling on what he just experienced.
He also, when he's left alone there, he's not able to distract himself with the work. That's all he has to think about.
It's like when you have a tragedy in your life and your work is your way to get your mind off of it. At some point, your mind comes back to it.
For sure. Yeah.
And then you break down crying again.
So with all of the work that I did with people in distress in hospitals and that sort of thing, with men in particular, the one thing that's constant among all of them is I don't have a meaningful job. Like that's the one thing. Like so I mean I can understand, that's why I think that makes sense, because Picard is distracting himself with his job and doing all this thing. Just having a meaningful job, particularly for men anyway, is a great distraction.
Definitely. I mean, that's definitely strong. But it reminds me of kind of I worked in journalism for a bit, and I met a few people who, and I was in 2004, so this woman had been working in journalism for a few years more than me, and so she was working on 9/11. And when you're covering like a traumatic news event, you have to be a professional. You have to like not cry or like panic. You just have to report the news, even if you're covered in dust or you don't know where your family members are, or the whole nation's going through a tragedy. And then she said she remembered when she finally got off work that night from her shift, you're covering, you're producing, you're flying around the country. She broke down and just started crying, by herself, because it's like, this is the time where I can emotionally process what I'm doing, because other than that, it's work.
Right.
That's
during the recent insurrection at the Capitol, I was watching the news about it. And when they cut back to one of the newscasters, they had to like very quickly collect themselves because they had been crying in the meantime. Very upset about
It's
it.
a hard. It's a job where you have to really put on your game face. And obviously like Picard has always been like that. Like he doesn't show his emotions to his crew, and now he's just been like mentally raped in a way, right? Like tortured by an enemy, somewhat. Like we can understand that as like some kind of mental abuse or like psychological trauma. So you're right, but sorry. The main thing is though, what you just witnessed to these 1.5 hours is the greatest acting you've seen by the greatest actor of our generation. And
I don't know. I saw the episode of Sadiq El Tahil Fadil Al Hamagrid Abdulkarim Al Makti playing as the guy, as Roy Vantika, the evil guy. That was some pretty great acting.
Oh, yeah.
And we have one more episode of Patrick Stewart's acting to go. So
Rayo Vantica.
Rayo Vantica.
He was the only guy I liked in the entire Sand Kingdom in that show that nobody wants to talk about anymore because it ended poorly.
All right, 1 minute countdown to Family. Season 4, Episode 2, Family. And then this time, I'll try to remember to... You know, I'll just do it now. There we go. This is the blurred screen, so I don't have to remember to switch again later. Now, the most important thing here is we need to be critiquing Captain Picard's fashion, because he's wearing just regular civilian clothes, and is it ugly civilian clothes like it usually is?
Oh yeah, no, we're gonna have to spend a lot of time looking at that. This is gonna be an Earth episode. We don't get a lot of these.
Oh yeah, we also get Worf's weird ball chair.
I don't remember that.
I love
It probably sounds... That probably sounds different than what I actually mean, but you'll know exactly what I'm talking about when we see it. Worf's weird ball chair. Everyone press play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play.
Ball chair.
It's like halfway through the episode.
Was it ever hinted before Worf's parents were Russian?
Yes, I'm pretty sure the first time we talked about parents.
Oh, do we have a countdown?
You did it.
We already had the countdown.
I'm behind then.
What about second countdown?
Yeah,
like 20 seconds into it.
So if you need
channels fall out of sync.
If you're on Discord, don't sync to the YouTube stream because you're going to be out of sync by like 5-6 seconds. I'll count down again for you now. We're at 34 seconds, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39 seconds, 40 seconds.
I'm here. Thank you.
We can sync up at the intro.
Thank you, my man.
Yeah, I forgot
anyway,
about
I'm
the
pretty sure
YouTube
the
mic.
first time Worf talks about his heritage, he mentions that like he was raised in Minsk, I think.
I think.
And where?
Wow.
No, he
Minsk,
says
Russia.
He was raised on Galt, which is a farming colony.
Yeah.
On Earth or
I
off
think
Earth?
the only mention we get of Minsk is in the
off Earth.
DS9 finale. I think that's the only time they say it.
His mother talks about how she could make him that blood pie, but his dad was like, I could never learn to enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they.
I don't think I would
explicitly,
enjoy
like,
something
mention-
called roteg blood pie. That sounds unappetizing.
Rokeg.
Yeah.
He's right.
Well-
I was always wondering where they got the ingredients for it, or if they had a replicator. Yeah, when do we find out the Russian thing? Because like, besides the last name,
I think it's just in this episode. I don't think we ever actually say it explicitly. I think it's just the fact that they have accents.
Hey, Herr Deutschland.
You can.
Yeah.
Other cat.
Oh, hello.
Là-bas, France. Oh, of course we established... Wait, have we actually seen Chain of Command? No, we haven't seen Chain of Command.
That's future.
Là-bas, France, he does mention in that episode when the guy's interrogating him, like, where were you born? Tell me about your family. You know, all that stuff. Getting to know him.
Serial number.
So this is the first time he's going to be to his family home in almost 20 years. That probably means that he's never seen Renee in person before.
Nope, this is the first time.
Definitely means. Yeah, Renee's like 11 or something.
Is that the younger daughter? Like his-
Renee
It's
is
his
Picard's
nephew.
nephew by his brother.
Excuse me, Renee is his uncle.
It's a boy.
Oh, yes, uncle,
in
yes.
France.
True.
But you know what's funny? It reminds me in Picard when you have Riker and Troy's daughter.
Yeah, real quick before we cut away. I like how on Captain Picard you can still see the damage from that Borg implant, because that was the place that had the healing thing over it on his
Yeah, you
forehead.
have a little bit of makeup line on it. Yeah.
All right, continue. I just wanted to get that before
Yeah,
we lost the scene.
In that last
like
scene we were going on, you
a-
had the metal plates.
A rose by any other name.
So in Picard season 1, you have Riker's and Troy's kid ambush Picard the same way his nephew Renee ambushes him here and through the thicket of the woods.
Well, not exactly the same. Renee doesn't
I
threaten him with a
absolutely-
deadly weapon.
That's
But
true.
I'm absolutely sure that they did that on purpose.
Yeah, there's a homage to the motif of the
Yeah.
family episode because that's our family, right? About 20 years later, when we're doing Picard, you know, like Troy and Riker and Picard were all like one, and
Well,
their
the people
kid.
on screen are our family in some sense.
Yeah.
What's Riker's kid's name again?
Kestra.
Kestra. That's right. After Troy's dead sister.
And
Oh,
Theo,
and-
I think.
He just puts
Right,
the
they
book
also
back
had-
on the shelf. Oh, I
They
love
had
it.
Thaddeus, which was who died while he was
Yeah,
young.
Thad.
Passed away.
Yeah.
He
And
didn't
by the way,
replicate his backpack this time.
in Star Trek Generations, the brother and this nephew die in a fire, and Picard is very upset about how he.
Do not skip the intro.
Skip,
He's
I
up-
dare you.
He's also upset, especially because, as Troy points out in Generations, the movie, when Renee was born, Jean-Luc said that he felt his family responsibility of continuing the family had been relieved from him, and now since he never had children himself, he realizes that he's now going to be the last of his family line.
Yep. But
And
Picard
that's gotta be-
rectifies that
hits
because
hits pretty close to home.
Picard kind of rectifies that, right? Because isn't like Data's daughter kind of his daughter now at this point?
Not
What was your question?
kinda.
You know how
No.
like Rey Skywalker, she's kind of like Soji Picard now.
Soji.
Soji Picard.
Does she-
I have a friend named Soji.
I need to rewatch the Picard ending. Was there?
Yeah, she's technically older than Picard.
No, she's not.
She's from
Okay.
2396.
At the end of the series, she's technically older than him.
Okay, at the very end, yes, technically.
At the very end.
The very end. It's like, what are you talking about? Soji's like 3 years old or something. What do you?
Right.
Yeah.
Seven and a half years old.
I remember that half day on Memory Alpha when Golem had its own page.
Yeah.
For the continuation, and it just said Picard was dead, and then Golem, because probably somebody was mad at the ending.
Picard is dead. Long live Picard.
Yeah.
He's on one page, and that's the only page they read in the whole magazine.
Oh, we got us. Okay, that space dog actually looks evil.
No,
Excuse me, it's not a space dog. It's a
not
McKinley
meant
station.
to look evil.
It's a
It's
refit
not meant.
station.
Okay,
It's
the
it's not
refit
Have a
station
claw, though.
is not intended to look evil, but yeah, the way it curves on the outside like that, it looks like it's stabbing things.
It's
Come to
designed
think of it, how does the ship
That
get in
is-
and out of it
It
if it
does look
curls
rusty.
around it?
I assume
is
that's
what
why
McKinley
it curls
station.
because the things move.
Oh,
It's
like-
called McKinley
gotta
Station.
get in.
So they
It's
flex
a
like fingers on a
station.
hand.
Yeah,
said that.
and it molds around the ship.
Okay.
Don't chase Nurse Stanton around a bio bed.
Station
do that.
McKinley.
That's one thing I really find
Okay.
annoying about Worf. He thinks he's the only person in the universe that's ever experienced anything.
Worf is the special snowflake.
Like, seriously, no one ever understands his pain.
He's like,
Worf
my
is the
dishonor.
only Klingon in Starfleet. He is the
Aw.
specialist snowflake. Cut him some slack.
I love these people.
These guys are
Look at
No,
great.
her,
me
she
too.
kisses him on the cheek.
So, question:
me
did
too.
Worf have any siblings, adopted or natural?
Yes.
Turn.
He has a
Oh,
brother.
Yeah, that's right.
Klingon
He has a
brother.
brother.
Yeah, his Klingon brother Kern and his stepbrother Nikolai.
Don't forget his adopted brother, the kid who made Rustai with.
Oh yes.
Wow.
Okay.
Jeremy
Legally
Allen.
speaking, that is his brother.
Martok is his brother, technically.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He's got a whole house there.
That's 4 or
Whoa.
5
Wow.
siblings.
Worf's dad calls O'Brien chief
Aw.
petty officer, despite him having the 2 pips to be regular lieutenant.
Yeah. Don't try not to worry too much about O'Brien's pips because they're going to be changing like every episode.
Brian is a non-commissioned officer. I understood. But yeah, you're right.
So we just named
Yeah.
all of Worf's relations. Did anyone mention Alexander? And he's still alive, right?
Who cares about him?
Alexander the
Worf
character.
certainly doesn't.
Exactly.
Yeah, Worf doesn't care. Why should we?
And
Yeah,
Kalar.
Wait, have we had
oh,
Alexander
look at
show up yet?
I love.
No,
he
no
was there.
Alexander yet.
No, has Kalar shown up though?
Yes, Kalar has.
Okay.
Fashion
So
time.
we're in that time.
Kalar has shown up, and Alexander's probably been born by this point because they did, get together.
But Worf
And then
doesn't
he
know
rapidly
yet.
grows up
Okay.
in a time warp. So he's 5 by the time he shows up a year and a half later.
The highwayman.
I presume that Klingons age very differently.
So this actor who's playing Rene Picard will also play young Picard in the episode Rascals.
He's got the nose for it.
And Picard is aged down. And Riker will be his number 1 dad.
Oh god, I can hear the voice now, yeah.
Oh,
David
Well, get your facts straight, Renee.
Wrong.
Renee, is he
How
your
old
nephew
is-
or your uncle? Get it straight.
How old is Renee supposed to be here, the character?
Like 12, 9,
11.
I think, around there.
4.
Robert seems,
I don't know.
Robert seems considerably beyond the normal age where you would think to become a father.
Oh yeah, Robert's like, it's like in his 60s.
It's the
60s or
future, though,
70s.
so you could, yeah,
You could have always saved some material a few decades
That's an
earlier.
in vitro baby.
What did you just imply a swear on my Star Trek show, Renee?
Well, he's,
Oh yeah, he did say son of a.
he
Right in
does.
front
He's
of a
doing
kid,
that
too.
naively, not on purpose.
Whoa!
They probably
Yeah, but
have
that
to
means
hear from-
Robert, a man from the future, our perfect utopian future, swore around his kid.
Against
Yeah.
Captain Picard, by the way.
I love
We
this
don't.
version
We are
of the
not allowed to
Chateau.
swear against Captain Picard.
I wish we had this version of the Chateau in Star Trek Picard. I don't like the stone one they went with.
I agree. I agree heavily.
People just go
No,
bonkers
I was
over
just echoing. I was
Admiral.
imitating myself from earlier. That's why I was acting that way.
So the chateau has a vineyard, of course, which means that it produces grapes for wine. And it's also seen operating in Star Trek Picard, the series. I've always assumed that it's more or less completely automated by robots.
They show robots in the poster for the series.
There is also the fact that, yeah, this specific cottage actually burned to the ground.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
that's
So it had to be
right.
rebuilt. So,
So I don't
wow.
think-
But it was
I
a
think that-
holographic cottage, so you can't really burn it down. It just comes right back.
I think that Robert in this version, or not version, but at this point in time, would not have run the chateau with robots. I think he would have been
No,
against
no.
that.
Robert would not. But I think
Oh,
in
yeah,
Picard,
on the other hand, doesn't give a
I remember a scene in Picard where he's looking out over the vineyard, and there are these brain bots going up and down the the rows.
I presume that the heavy labor, the standing out in the sun doing field maintenance is automated, and they've got right now they've got a couple of dudes by the casks.
So who's
Not at this
older,
point.
Jean-Luc or Robert?
Robert's older.
There,
Okay.
much.
You can tell
But
he has more.
these grapes look so delicious.
God, Robert, what are you doing? I assume you're supposed to do that, but do you have to do it in that way?
What is
No,
that
he's doing it
tie?
like such a huge. And he doesn't want to talk to his brother, so he's like shoving his mouth full of grapes the second time.
Yeah, Robert later on will be like, I was the elder brother. I was expected to take care of you. That's going to be a whole thing.
Robert is played by actor Jeremy Kemp, who passed away early in 2020.
Oh.
Rest in peace.
Because
Stop
one of
sampling the grapes,
conflicts
Robert.
that the two brothers have in this episode is over technology. And so the brother is very conservative and he says, I don't want to use any damn technology. And he even calls it your damn technology at the dinner table.
Damn,
And convenience. Yeah. And then, Picard is kind of more like we should go to the stars. And it's implied that their father raised them to be that conservative and to run the farm. And see, it's really interesting because Picard plays the prodigal son here almost in this episode. Not only is it called family, but he's the one returning home, and obviously their father is gone. But his brother has taken his father's place.
Hang on.
So just for clarity,
Okay.
everyone in this episode is Picard. So when we say Picard, we're talking about Captain Picard.
Jean-Luc.
I'm sorry.
Jean-Luc Picard.
So if Picard
think
were
anybody could follow
raised
that.
with the other guy, I forgot his name. If they
Robert.
were raised to not, thank you. If they were raised to not like technology, and Picard chose to go into Starfleet, would that not make him the black sheep as well?
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's implied.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Lieutenant
we go
Commander
from-
Jack R. Crusher, USS Stargazer.
All
And
dig
it's
up
also
stuff.
written somewhere else in the character that Picard would look up at the sky and gaze at the stars all night. That's when they're talking about how before he became captain of the Stargazer.
And then Renee follows that exact path later in the episode. Robert is the father who wants to teach them to not use technology, and Renee is going against that.
You know,
he's looking to
Robert
the future.
says, "Let him dream" at the end of the episode, so it shows where even
Yeah.
Robert comes around.
Yeah, I think the implication throughout a lot of this episode is that Robert is probably already in a softer attitude about some of this stuff, and he's just kind of needling Picard because he knows he needs it.
Yes.
Yeah, he says that explicitly.
Robert's a
Yeah,
nice
right,
guy.
fist fight.
Robert's cool.
All right, because he does say, "Did you come all the way back here because you knew I would take care? Because you wanted me to take care of you?" And he goes, "Damn you!" And he throws the first punch.
It's not just a fist fight; it's a mud fight.
This is such a sentimental scene.
Picard.
It's a
family
sentimental
member.
scene, but it's also a sentimental scene about a character we've literally never seen before.
It's amazing.
The big life lesson to take away from this episode, of course, is to never let that sort of thing happen within your own real life family.
Mm-hmm.
Are we talking about Jack Crusher or Picard now?
I'm sorry, the Picards.
Okay.
I'm sorry, we were talking all over all over the Crusher family there.
Yeah, there's
The
two
Jack Crusher thing is great. You know, like nowadays with YouTube, you could easily record something for your young son and just like, "Hey, you know, you're
Yeah.
such a little guy. I'm not gonna have time for you later." But here we go. I almost teared up, you know, watching the thing between Jack and Wesley.
Well, please tell me he's an only child. Well, about that, Mr. Zhenko. It's complicated.
This is an obligatory parent thing, right? Telling embarrassing stories about your
Yeah.
children after they're
Yes.
known to their friends.
Yeah,
Such a
totally.
normal,
It's implied, though.
completely average life for this
Worf,
Klingon.
Worf was a Tasmanian devil, like you know.
Are they
That's
going to
the
relate
thing
the
about-
embarrassing story about that one time Worf killed a kid?
with his headbutt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was so.
Are they going to leave that
strange.
one out?
That part of that episode was really strange to me. Like that changed the tone of the episode so dramatically.
I mean, the entire episode, Worf was being a domestic terrorist. You had to... They needed something to try and help justify what he was doing.
Oh, and a lot of Russian immigrants to the USA, a lot of them were like nuclear scientists. So like, can you show me the warp core? I'm a nuclear physicist.
Nuclear vessel.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice little cottage there. Chateau. I don't actually know what chateau, if it means like the vineyard or the cottage itself, but you know, it's a nice chateau.
Well,
It's nice
it's the
that they've
French word.
solved the light pollution problem.
Chateau is the French word for house, right?
Yeah, that's all it is.
Okay.
Isn't it large mansion or something? I think it's
yeah, I think it's a large
Because
house.
mansion itself is French. So
I had
Oh.
two years of
Chateau.
French.
Looking on Google, it says a chateau
so
is a manor
grumpy.
house or residence of the lord of the manor, or a country house of nobility or gentry without fortifications, originally, and is still mostly frequently in French-speaking regions.
Without fortifications, what's even the point?
Oh no, I'm
Yeah,
sorry, I
most
misread
wine
that.
are called like
It is with or without fortifications.
Oh, with or without. Okay,
Yes, sorry.
cool. That's fine.
Yeah, I thought chateau
wineries.
was.
La
It
Maison
is essentially the French word for castle.
Yeah.
That's how
She just dripped stew all over the bottom of her bowl. It looks like they wiped it up between shots,
Yeah.
but
Luddites.
be careful with that ladle.
By the way, and it's about she's the best cook in the whole. She's like the last cook in the Federation, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, Picard finally gets to drink some real wine.
Well, Cisco's dead.
He says, right, but he
Oh,
says
Riker.
that the hall
Here
makes
comes the 47.
Yep,
He said
47.
2347.
Yeah, Riker also cooks, just badly.
Riker plays saxophone.
I don't know that we
Just
know that Riker
badly.
cooks badly. I think he just picked bad eggs.
Bad eggs.
He also plays
Bad
trombone. I'm sorry.
I mean, he did make the excuse of a cook is only as good as his ingredients, but that really sounds like an excuse.
This goes to cook.
Also, in Star Trek Picard, he burnt a tomato.
He's making pizza in an oven.
Well, you can't take any single person off the Enterprise and look at them without looking at the collective whole.
Well, that's what we're doing right here. We took Picard off the Enterprise. We're looking at him alone.
I was going to say, I disagree. That's what we do all the time here.
Well, I mean, I don't want my opinion to hold so much weight. I'm just offering my opinion.
Okay.
That's fine. So he over here considers, being part of this geological scientific foundation for a minute, and it becomes like a plot line because the guy comes over without permission and volunteers him to for the prospect.
A report on starships.
I've always thought these anti-technology plot lines in Star Trek were so hypocritical.
Yeah.
Because without the technology, I would
the essentialists.
Yeah, the essentialists, that lady on that planet that locked Cisco in the box.
Yeah.
All of them, they're such hypocrites because they wouldn't even be able to exist, peacefully without it. But yet they hate it.
To be fair, that last one with Cisco in the box, it was made pretty clear that this was a really messed up thing to do.
It was, but then everyone else in the colony went along with it after it had been revealed.
The brainwashed cult members.
Also, I really hate what Picard is doing with his bread. That table is going to be such a pain to clean.
Oh god, yeah, he's just leaving it there.
Yeah. You have a plate.
Because they don't have technology. There's no guarantee that table's clean.
Because I guarantee that Renee's appendix exploded. They used that wretched technology to heal him.
Gross. Yeah, true.
I bet Robert cleaned that table with a spit shine.
Yeah, true.
I mean, anti-technology people aren't necessarily absolutists. I don't know that
It seems like they're more like
That's what I'm trying to point out, though. There's a hypocrisy. Yeah.
It seems like they're more like Mennonites, where Mennonites live an Amish lifestyle. But when I was stationed in Montana, you'd see Mennonites come in every so often, go to Walmart in a big van. They get whatever they need, and then go right back to their farm.
Yeah.
So they're Amish light. They acknowledge
Nobody can refuse the convenience of Walmart.
Right.
Look, if
Even
it's
as
the
a
only place you
European,
can
I
get
wish we
tomatoes.
had it sometimes.
For Amazon, yeah.
It's like being a technological skeptic, really. It's like you just have to be persuaded that it's necessary or useful.
Do you think
if it'll save your life, it's necessary. So.
Do you think Robert would be a 5G conspiracy theorist?
No, God.
Yeah. But so many grapes on those vines. My mouth was watering most of this episode.
Man, I had a serious thing I wanted to bring up, but I have no idea what it was anymore because the bread distracted me.
Well, if we want to go on something, he just said Atlantis Project.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny.
And then he didn't elaborate. He just name drops Atlantis and just moves on. Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's something being discussed through the episode. Okay, it's really crazy and futuristic. They're lifting up the ocean floor to find a continent underneath the ocean floor, which I don't understand how you could do, because it's how do you get a forklift to lift the ocean floor?
Anyway, we're in the people who use anti-grav stuff. They're talking about it now.
No, I like his idea. Just a giant forklift.
All right.
So later on. So, anyways, it's just like a futuristic plot line to show that we're in the 24th century doing crazy stuff to our planet. But when there was no Star Trek on the air, I was watching Sequest for a while. That filled my fix for a bit.
I remembered what I wanted to mention. We were talking about how certain people were hypocritical about
technology.
We might see in the show someone who hates technology but literally requires use of a lot of technology to survive. We also see that in Enterprise with Terra Prime, the guy who's anti-aliens but uses alien medicine to keep himself alive.
Yeah.
Mr. Paxton, I believe.
It's like people screaming about how bad Twitter is. on Twitter.
Yep.
That was one of my favorite episodes of that entire series.
Oh yeah, the series finale, you mean?
yeah, the series finale, yeah, with the mood extremists. It
Yeah,
was amazing.
Demons in Terra Prime.
Yeah, that was the last
Worst
episode.
parents
There was
are
nothing after
annoying.
that.
Like just a tad under Luoxana Troy.
Who about what about Troy? What?
Luoxana?
It's like when your parents drop
No,
you
I
off,
got it.
they give you a big kiss on the cheek or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's just going through the same thing that Deanna goes through every single time Luoxana's here.
Yeah.
Such a little snowflake. That's shaking his head. Such a snowflake.
The difference is that Wolf's parents aren't annoying, and actually kind of try to be good parents.
Yeah,
they are good parents.
You know, sometimes I feel like the only person that actually likes Luxana.
Can you say that again?
I feel like sometimes I'm the only one who likes Luxana Troy. She's annoying in her early episodes, but later on she gets really a lot better.
Yeah, you're not the only one. I love Roxana.
Yeah, no, she's a very good character.
Yeah, on DS9 she's pretty good.
She's reasonably entertaining to watch, but oh my god, I would hate her if I met her in real life.
Yeah. I mean, clearly Riker and Picard loathe when she's near.
Prune juice? Don't be ridiculous, Guinan. He's a Klingon warrior.
Star Trek will
It's a
always
warrior's
throw
drink.
a major
But prune
debt
juice
to
is a warrior's drink.
Angel Brett Roddenberry.
You guys don't like prune juice.
I've never had prune juice. I just assume it's bad.
I like prune
Rokeg
juice.
blood pie. Is Rokeg a plant or an animal or what?
Or is it a place? Is it like from Rokeg? What's the deal?
I don't know.
What's it the blood of?
Unless it comes from the French province of Rokeg.
I mean, knowing Klingons, I would assume it's actually Targ blood. Because it's always Targs.
Yeah, I mean, Gach is worms that are alive. So.
Yep. Which I assume Ferengi love.
Looking online and
It's
Rokeg
just Klingon
looks to be some
pies
kind of
being
beet.
Klingon pies.
It's some
like shepherd's
type of
pie.
beet. I think it's like a beetroot like thing in some goo that looks spacey.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I can see beets being blood pie.
Yeah.
Maybe next time I go to the grocery store, I'll pick up some prune juice. See what it's like.
And beets.
No, I've had beets.
So if
Make
you
a
want
beet pie though.
if you want the full laxative effect of prune juice, warm it up. Heat it up.
I
in the
don't
microwave,
actually.
On the stove.
You don't need that. It'll already laxative you up.
And then you take the biggest gulps ever.
I don't think I do want the full laxative effect.
Yeah, make sure it's on a day when you've had a lot of cheese.
Yeah. And make sure it's on
Memory.
a day. And make sure it's on a
And
day
beans.
where you don't have to go to work that day or the next day.
So do it on Friday
Uh-oh.
afternoon.
Yeah.
There's an article on Memory
Afternoon?
Alpha for Rokeg blood pie, but it does not specify what it is, whether it's food, whether it's an animal or vegetable or anything. It just says Rokeg.
There was a Neelix cookbook for Voyager that was actually a book that was sold.
Yeah.
At one point.
What?
I wanted to get that actually.
Yeah, you can make all the
and
Neelix
try some of
dishes.
them. Yeah.
Of course, it'll be pretty difficult to find Leola roots, but you can probably
There
replace
was
them
a-
with ginger or something.
There's a recipe for Romulan ale, which I guess blue Gatorade and vodka would do it. But anyway.
How to Drink also did a episode on Romulan ale.
So I used to go to a convention, don't ask, and they had a Star
What kind of
Trek,
convention?
No, we're not talking about that. But they had a Star Trek related room and served like Romulan ale and all of this stuff. And
Cool.
that's what I think it was. I think it was Gatorade and vodka.
Oh.
I never
Sounds
got to
horrible.
go to a.
Well, the green liquor that Scotty and Captain Picard drank was actually High C Ecto Cooler.
It wasn't real Aldebaran whiskey?
That's what it was, yeah.
Picard freaks out when you talk about an alternate job. He's like, "What? What alternate job? Like I said, I'll think about it. I never said I was gonna think about it."
No. Sorry.
I mean, it is.
responding to the. Just never mind.
He's just being like.
It does seem kind
of
of rude.
Okay with the idea.
For
he was okay with the idea a minute ago.
But it does seem kind of rude for Louis to actually schedule a meeting with a board of directors without asking him about it.
Yeah.
He did express interest in the vineyard, though. Like, he was trying to say, like, why the hell not? He almost said, you know?
Louis is just excited. He's maybe a little overexcited to get Picard on the project, but he's well-intentioned.
Holding a knife in her own hands. Oh, that's not a knife. That's a data chip.
Oh man, I hope Beverly slaps Wesley in this episode.
What?
Why would she do that?
Her thing now, just every episode she has to slap him.
Every episode.
I thought she was alone.
This is like a mother-son father episode.
What is it that you have against Wesley? What's wrong with Wesley?
Soldiers. You know, like, so many soldiers aren't able to come home, and, you know, like, children in military families grow up without, you know, parents all the time because.
Oh, are you ready for the ball chair?
Yep.
Is everyone ready for the ball chair? Come on, give us a wide shot. There it is.
Whoa.
What a weird chair.
I've never seen that
watched
before.
this series 5 times and I've never noticed that.
It's always in his quarters.
That's amazing.
Every time you see Worf's quarters, look for his ball chair.
It looks like it's supposed to be just a sculpture that happens to be usable as a chair.
So that is actually a real chair. That's a chair that someone designed in real life and they just use it as a prop. You can buy that chair. Well, I don't know if you can buy it anymore because this was the 90s, but you could buy it.
We're talking about how absurd the ball chair is, but like, if we take a minute to look back at that scene, Worf was literally just sitting in that chair, admiring his beard in the mirror. What the hell?
Do you not do that with your beard?
Meditation chair. He was meditating.
He was meditating about his beard.
Meditating
You
on
don't
his
love your
beard.
beard?
Yeah, what do you mean? I do that all the time. I just look in the mirror and just look at my beard. What else am I going to do with my time?
Watch Star Trek, apparently?
I mean, Worf's beard has got nothing on Mr. Rozhenko's beard. I mean, look at that thing. That is a great beard. The mustache could go a little bit higher. It's a little too far away from the nose. But like around the actual cheeks and the chin, perfect.
It looks like he shaved up around the nose.
Well, in the future of all good things, Worf really let his hair grow out.
As someone whose mustache tends to grow upwards into my nostrils, I totally get why Sergei would do that.
Okay.
So do I. Same
That's
here.
fair. That's fair. I have been blessed with a downward growth. Is that... Wait, is that Joey? What? Hang on. Okay, we're bringing this up on screen.
Yes, it is.
Remove the blur.
Oh my in Friends.
Gosh.
Why is it in Friends?
Notice how Worf is looking
looking
at
at the
him,
thing from the last
looking
scene.
down his nose at him in the other photograph.
I think it's one of the things that, you know, in the scene after he gets his first paycheck from Days of Our Lives, he just buys a whole lot of stuff, and that's probably one of the like silly things he gets there because I recognize that statue.
All right, here it is, a little bit blown up. It was pretty small before, so people in the YouTube chat can see this wonderful picture of Joey's ball chair. That is Joey, right? I never actually watched Friends.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's blurry, so I don't know.
I never watched it, and sadly, I still know who that is.
You just absorb Friends knowledge from via osmosis.
If it's forced on you, yeah.
I've never seen the show, but I know it's Ross and Phoebe and Rachel and Joey and Chandler.
And one more.
Does it start with a D?
Is there one more?
Doc.
Monica.
Monica.
And Sneezy and Happy
and Dopey.
And Huey and Louie.
Oh, here's Robert sort of poking at Picard, trying to make him angry.
Yeah.
But Picard or Robert knows what's going on.
Does he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He knows that Picard doesn't actually want to go down to the sea. He's just having a tough time coping. And Robert's trying to get him to force him to see that.
It's been a while since I've seen this episode, so you could be right at the end.
Thinking
But-
like Robert has such a stiff upper lip, like he cannot possibly be French.
Yeah.
See, to me, he's jealous. That's what I'm getting at this scene. He's
Well-
jealous
Yeah.
because of all of his achievements. All he has to do is go down to the planet, and he's offered this job, the Atlantis job.
Well, he did just
Yeah.
say outright he was jealous.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's exactly what I got from it.
But there is more to it, which we're going to be establishing in about a minute. I kind of appreciate the fact that they doubled down on making everyone in Picard's family British, instead of just having everyone else have French accents except Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
There's
but-
somebody. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I'll just say I too am French. If you didn't know.
Oh.
No, I'm not French.
You sound.
I don't know, you sound pretty French to me.
Oh, they're
Oh.
fighting now.
That's too
Picard being an action guy, like hitting people in my Star Trek TNG.
Yeah, but
There's
he hit someone who was already half drunk.
Yeah. I was gonna say action hero, but I don't think there's anything heroic about this.
No. Action tradition.
Oh yes, the famous traditional Picard family mud wrestling.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, look at
Now they're
Picard.
just shoving each other.
Picard, they're having a great time.
Oh, thank God it ended that way.
But you needed it.
I know.
Oh,
You see, Robert's a good guy. He knows what's going on.
Oh, this.
I'm just reminded of the Honest trailer of The Next Generation, if you guys have seen that. And one of the things is, with acting way better than Star Trek deserves. With Patrick Stewart.
Where'd you read that?
World-class actor Patrick Stewart. The entire rest of your life, in fact.
Oh.
And we will be coming back to this in Star Trek Picard. But not for the rest of TNG, though. For the rest of TNG, he's fine.
Yeah.
I love how everyone was silent for that scene.
It's very important.
It's like one of the most important
damn
scenes
good
in
acting.
all of Next Generation.
That's sort of the issue with really good episodes. It's hard to talk about them because you get sucked into the episode itself.
Yeah, it was the same during The Visitor. Like that was very.
Yeah.
We were maybe 10 people, and it was very quiet because we were like, "No,
We were just
Tony
watching
Todd,
The Visitor."
die. No, Tony Todd."
Well, that's why I deafen myself every time Guinan's on screen. I'm like, it's Guinan. I have to watch.
You just want.
So this episode was, I believe, Ron Moore pitched this episode, and when it was brought to Gene Roddenberry, he absolutely lost his shit because of the relationship between Picard and Robert. He was just absolutely pissed that there would be any kind of interpersonal conflict portrayed on Star Trek.
This is why we let Gene Roddenberry be the big ideas guy.
Right.
He also
Well,
hated
see,
the
the thing
idea
is-
of anything of Picard having any problem. Like,
Yeah.
like his whole thing of was it season 1 where that kid, his parents died, and Roddenberry wanted to just be the kid is just cool with it. Like, this is just how the world is.
Yeah.
Well, so Rick Berman and a couple other producers on the show at the time rescued this episode, basically.
You know who Gene Roddenberry reminds me of? He reminds me of
Rick Berman did well.
Of episode 2 Yoda. It's like, don't grieve for people that have died. They're one with the Force. Why are you upset about it? It's like, no, that's not how this works. You're look, afterlife or not, you're allowed to be upset when people die, Gene.
Wait, are you saying the same thing that Picard is saying?
And fear leads to the dark side.
Fear leads to anger, and anger leads to hate, and hate leads to suffering. I mean, he wasn't wrong about that.
All right.
And suffering leads to self-expression.
Is Data in this episode at all?
Well, Data doesn't have a family, so he's irrelevant here.
Well, he doesn't have one yet, anyway.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing him, to be honest.
No, did Brent Spiner not get paid this week? Where's Brent Spiner? He might have been at the very beginning. I'm scrolling through and looking for him. He's in the credits.
I mean, they all are, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm scrolling through the entire episode. I don't see a single Brent Spiner.
Yeah, this is the meaningful part of this moment here is that Jack doesn't realize he's not going to be there in the future when Wesley's watching this.
Yeah.
This is really cool. I wish my parents did something like this for me. It'd be
I assume not with
interesting to
literal
see them.
holograms.
No, with literal holograms. It'd be good to see how they were, as young adults also.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually intriguing because I see how my parents were as 20-somethings. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
If I add a face cam, I can do that sort of just with this show.
Not only does
Can I
this
ask
ad
everybody a
relate.
question that's relevant to what's happening on screen?
Maybe. Depends.
Why
What's
is
up?
Star Trek and Starfleet I would love if everybody could tell what matters to them so much about Starfleet and Star Trek. No right or wrong answers. I mean all the answers, please. But
I don't have a very dramatic answer for you. My entire answer would just be, I just think it's neat.
I think it's.
You say as you're holding a potato.
I can answer that
barely
question.
hear the question at all.
I could answer that question. I already have an answer for it because I was thinking about that question myself. I think Star Trek is intriguing because it's something that strives to be as much fair as it is practical, and that doesn't really happen a lot. Like, we're still, because of the scarcity economy, it's all about practicality and not about, what's interesting or fair or whatever. It's closest to a meritocracy, I think, than a lot of people get. And
that scene right there, that ended with Wesley there, he should have broken down and cried.
Well, maybe he does. We just cut away.
He's Wesley Crusher.
You got to work with your actor's limits.
I was just thinking we haven't talked about the civilian clothing this episode.
Oh, Jesus. I mean, everyone actually looks kind of okay except Robert, but I think that's just because he's been messing around in the mud. Like, I have no criticisms about Marie's clothes or Renee's. They look fine. Robert's definitely looks like they need a wash, and I'm not sure about the scarf. I'm not convinced that fits with the outfit. It's not even a real scarf. I don't know what's going on with that.
It's just an ascot.
Fashion.
Old people just stay warm that way.
I like how the relationship here with the brothers changes, because I didn't remember how it ended in this episode. I only remembered that they got into a fist fight.
I also remember the qu'il fait bon, fait bon, fait bon. Près de ma blonde, qu'il fait bon dormir.
Their British accent French singing.
I love how they didn't bother showering. They just came in the house with muddy and started drinking and singing.
Attract mud all over the carpet.
That's true,
Isn't that
brother.
what you would do if you had a fight with your brother in the mud?
Yep.
Yeah, this episode made you laugh out loud at least twice. One was that scene when Robert and Jean-Luc are like, "Were you fighting?" No, we weren't fighting. We just fell, and then he fell, and we both fell.
Yeah.
Oh, and then here also it's like, oh, I have all the specs and diagrams at home. Like, you already said that, Dad.
It's not specs and diagrams. It's specs and diagrams.
We know, Dad.
Chat
We're very
says
proud.
Chat says they literally tried to maximize the mud they brought into the house.
I think that's true. I mean, I was looking at the footprints, and that was like an inch of mud on every step. And it went for like 3 inches to the side of every foot. That was a ludicrous amount of mud.
Waving their arms around. Yeah,
He says as I can hear the smile in his face
There it
as
is.
he's talking.
Christopher.
There's Renee following in the steps of Jean-Luc. And Robert accepting that.
I
You can see
wonder.
the constellation Orion there.
He's got a hard life
The
ahead
Kindle
of
logo
him.
is just like that. Sorry, go ahead.
I wonder if whenever the cottage burned down or whatever, did rocks fall from the ceiling there also?
Yes. Always. Why do you even have to ask?
I'm
Of course that's
asking
going to
the
happen.
serious- I'm asking the serious questions here. Okay.
So we didn't get any Brent Spiner in that episode, but we're going to get a lot of Brent Spiner in this episode.
3
Like a lot
times
of Brent Spiner.
We're watching Brothers.
We're watching Brothers. Because 2-parters count as 1 episode.
Because
1 minute
I
time.
don't need sleep.
Well, you should have thought of that before you moved to Germany.
Okay, so
Okay,
that
I-
song we
I
have to
need-
learn for chorus
I need-
class. It
can we
means
take a longer
in
timer,
the presence of my blonde.
2-minute
No,
timer.
all tous les oiseaux du monde viennent faire la nuit. So all the turtle doves in the world, they sing together. And when I'm with my blonde, my blondie, your boyfriend or girlfriend, then everything is good. So that's what that qu'il fait bon, fait bon, fait bon.
All right.
It was having a blonde boyfriend or girlfriend, which is basically the story of my life.
Okay, cool.
I mean, I don't think I even know a blonde person. Literally nobody I know is blonde.
Yeah, I'm kind of obsessed with gingers.
Hey, I'm a ginger. Don't be obsessed with me, please.
I have brown hair, sort of a dark brown.
Are we sharing? Are we sharing hair
Yes.
colors? Hair color
Yeah.
reveal?
Hair color reveal, everyone.
Black power.
Black.
Blonde.
Oh, wait, who said blonde? Who said blonde?
I did.
All right, I know a blonde person.
Brown and boring.
You know a blonde voice.
Dirty blonde.
Life's more fun when you have a blonde in your arm.
The YouTube chat as well, not just Discord. Everyone in YouTube chat. What color is your hair?
Yeah.
You don't have to be
Go
blonde.
chat.
You just have to have a blonde partner.
But I can't have a blonde partner if I don't know any blonde people, and I can't date Newell Gore over here.
Does dirty blonde count? Or strawberry
Yeah.
blonde? The
Strawberry
strawberry blonde.
blonde's even better. Oh man.
Okay. Then yes, I have dated a blonde.
Okay. All right, everyone. 20 seconds to Brothers. Remember, do not skip the intro when that comes up. Everyone be queued to 0.
Meanwhile, I have boring brown hair. My husband has boring brown hair.
But I have boring brown hair. Press play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. I have nothing against boring brown hair because I have boring brown hair.
So do most Danish people. Like we have a like the name for regular blonde hair is named after meat spread.
Well, what was that? I think Star Trek: The Next Generation gave me my love for blondes because that episode where Wesley is like put to death almost for like crashing to a football.
The Gene Roddenberry episode?
They're all like hot blondes on that planet. I'm just like, if there was,
Okay, hang on a
if there was a
second. So
planet,
that whole
hot blondes
planet
wearing
was-
skimpy clothing.
That was a planet of Aryans? Blonde,
Yeah.
blue-eyed, am I correct?
Yes.
Now, I can't help but notice that's also what the augments are, and they're described as the superior breed.
Interesting.
Yeah,
There
and
might
Blade
be a
Runner-
metaphor there.
Now I have concerning thoughts about Gene Roddenberry. Was Gene Roddenberry a white supremacist?
Well, he
surely can't have been based on
so-
like Star Trek overall. Surely.
And one might
Love
say
it.
they were real Nazis about those flowers.
Jesus
How
Christ.
many Nazi
Even when he's on
episodes-
Ryza, every Ryzen that approaches him is like this hot blonde. So it's like, the best planet on Star Trek is like full of scantily clad blondes.
It does appear
Actually,
to
some
be
of the
the
best
galactic
Nazi
standard.
sci-fi was Stargate Season 2?
Stargate
Season
did
1 or
Nazi
2, they
stuff?
had a really good... Yeah, they had this place where, on this planet where these two people on this planet were fighting each other. And the more advanced one, they brought the team down to a vault. And they went through all these people who were in cryosleep. And you noticed eventually, and so did the team, they're all Aryans. So the theory is that the Nazis found, at some point, got their hands on the Stargate, just for a little while.
Okay, so that
Really?
description alone has sold me on the show.
Okay.
No, don't get me wrong. There's also a lot of really 10 seasons. There's also a lot of really bad.
Oh no, my brother has seen the entire franchise.
So in regards to this show that we're watching, I'm very concerned about the fact that they apparently on the Enterprise have very easily accessible to children, highly poisonous plants.
Yeah.
I feel like the Arboretum should not have those just openly displayed.
And I also don't see how it's his fault. He played literally a harmless prank. And
But
someone...
This is the 24th century. We don't play any kind of prank.
It's literally the most harmless prank ever.
We don't have a sense of humor in the 24th century. That's why we have endless concerts.
Psychologically, it's not a harmless prank.
In defense of the situation in this episode, kids are really dumb. So
Yeah.
Did they specify that happened in the Arboretum?
I don't-
think they mentioned something about that. Either it's in the Arboretum or somewhere where there's plants, which I don't know where else there would be. But
Unless they just like ducked into Keiko's quarters or something.
right.
Keiko's here, right?
Yeah.
Is she
And
ever
even-
really here? Oh wait, no.
Has she
Deep
been
Space Nine
introduced yet though?
She's,
I don't think we.
she's
I don't
not
think
in
we've
the
met.
Arboretum.
Have we met
The kid-
Keiko?
The kid is what? Like 10 years old or something like that?
He looks younger than that,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
Like maybe 7 or 8.
An 8-year-old fake blood paint prank is even psychologically harmless. He's 8. He's 8. I mean, it probably didn't even last that long.
Riker specified that the brother who's ill is 9.
Okay.
I don't think that we've seen Keiko because the Wounded happens later this season, and that's O'Brien's big standout episode.
Yeah. So Keiko first appears in Data's Day, which is the one where he learns to tap dance, and Keiko and O'Brien actually get married.
So let's
That
assume
can't be
she's
her
been here
first
the whole
appearance.
time. Yeah, no, I was about to say I'm pretty sure the first time we see her is like when they're getting married.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it goes
it
from
is her
0
first
to
appearance.
married, and yeah.
It's kind of a banger premiere episode for a character, isn't it?
Good for her, yeah.
Oh shit! Is this the episode with the best password ever?
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, it is.
That the Picard song was named after. Not named after, but oh bother. Some guy on YouTube made a music video called Data and Picard, where he turns this
Pogo
password into a Pogo, yes.
And if you very much enjoy Pogo songs, don't look into Pogo the guy. Just listen to the music.
Uh-oh. Why?
Don't worry about it. Just listen to the music.
Oh no. I really like Pogo's stuff. Is he terrible?
Just listen to the music. Don't worry about it.
If he says
hang
don't
on.
worry about it, then that
Hang on,
means
don't worry about that.
talk about
You
it.
don't need to worry about that. Is the Cosby Show still a funny show?
Oh god.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's still good music, and it's still a good show.
Going from 25 miles an hour to warp 9 with that analogy.
Hey, wait a minute. Captain Picard just walked into his ready room. How's he going to get out of that?
Is Michael
that's a
Jackson's
turbo
music still good? Do people still like Chris Brown?
Oh wait, that was the turbo
He's
lift
just
to the
gonna kill
captain's yacht,
everybody.
wasn't it?
Skippy, what's wrong, dog?
Oh, hey.
Is that
guy
Primin?
from Deep Space Nine?
That's Primin.
Yeah.
And he's an ensign here, and he's probably a lieutenant in DS. He got a promotion. Good for him. He switched out of engineering, went to security.
When
Who
they say
wants
deck
to,
one,
see
that
if he's got the
symbolizes
same-
Ryan.
Deck 1? Wait, what about Deck 1?
Nothing. I shouldn't have said that.
And I know Deck 1 is the bridge.
I was gonna say, who wants to see if he's got the same character name in his
But
credit?
it's the way they use it in a sentence. It's not about evacuating it.
So I'm looking at Amazon X-Ray. It says his name here is Ensign Kopf.
Cough.
So he changed his name.
Oh, what a shame.
Right?
No, it's a Tom Paris situation.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he got married and changed his name. We don't know. Maybe he just wanted to change his name.
Let's give him the promotion.
Oh, there's another outtake here where Jordy messes up his line and he just walks off.
Oh, I'm sorry. Your password must include a special character.
Of course.
It does. It includes data.
Oh, how sweet.
Ooh, good one.
Yes, never use this specific password, though. It doesn't matter how long it is. Everybody knows of this password. So it's a bad one.
Hold on, I need to change all my passwords.
Oh, okay.
Quick! Everyone, quick!
You actually set your password to 8476347667987432176891.
Victor Charlie.
Yeah.
I also really, really appreciate that they use the NATO alphabet.
Now, I'm not clear on if you're typing in the password, do you have to type in the word Charlie because that's what Data said, or can you just type the letter C?
It's just C.
Because if you watch the display carefully, the computer does actually write out the word Charlie itself.
Yeah. So when I first saw this episode, I never knew that there was such a thing as the NATO alphabet. And so I said, okay, so he just chose proper nouns and happened to throw them in as part of the password.
It's probably a voice recognition thing, actually. Like, they're not listening for C, they're listening for the word Charlie, because it's like voice. If he has to type it in, would he have to type out Charlie?
Because I'm thinking, what if you actually wanted the name Charlie in your password?
Yeah, you just type it.
The computer doesn't know the computer does know what you want because it's always scanning your brainwaves.
Well, let's see if he uses the letter C. Does he use the NATO alphabet at all? Exclusive of an actual character? Like, he never says ABC?
Sorry, Commander Data has taken over the bridge. I just had to add that.
This is one of the only occurrences in all of Star Trek that I know of where we actually see the NATO alphabet used.
You say Alpha Tango in First Contact.
Yeah,
Picard 47 Alpha Tango. I don't know why I remember that specific password, but it's Picard 47 Alpha Tango.
The NATO alphabet is so widely known that even aliens use it in their passwords.
47 also, by the way. 47.
Oh, yeah.
Look, there's Wesley in that uniform.
Man, look at how few flaps there are here.
Disappointing number of flaps.
I mean, they kind of have some flaps around their necks, but those are good-looking flaps.
It's the room. It's the big circles. It's the Borg room.
Oh, yeah.
There we are.
Except they're red circles this time. They were like yellowish green before.
McDonald's. You know that Playhouse thing? With
Yeah, that was a thing in 1990.
So I don't know if that boy is actually sick or if this is some kind of prank they're playing.
Oh, no, he's dying. He's 100% dying.
Yeah, this is the B plot. This is the B plot that emotionally engages the audience. And
we need a sense of we can't just turn the ship around when we finally get control of it. We need it now.
I think this is funny.
This has always struck me as a really good episode for sibling children to watch.
Also, that kid is also laying on the packing
material.
foam or sound
Packing
insulation. Yeah, packing foam. Except they colored it blue this time. Now it's blue packing foam.
Oh, you picking up the background noise at my house?
No background noise.
My house is creaking from the cold and the heat.
Now that kid's outfit, the one who poisoned his brother accidentally, his outfit I'm not keen on. I don't like the two-tone.
So for kid actors, I feel like Star Trek has some pretty good kid actors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they need better kid clothing. If you have two-tone clothing, it needs to be one tone on top, one tone on the bottom, not one tone on the left and the right.
It's just leftover scraps from whatever they have for making the adult uniforms.
Here comes the password.
Everybody watch the screen for the phonetic alphabet appearing phonetically.
The password is Fingal.
So I think I read somewhere at its peak, like each Next Generation episode, like the whole episode, by the way, cost like $1 million or $2 million. And this is at the peak of the show.
Yeah.
And it was like one of the highest budgeted show at the times. But anyway.
I can't get over the fact that that's Bremen.
Good line.
Why is Wesley always bent over on that table?
He's imitating Riker, I guess, to try and look commanding, because Riker is always doing that.
Trying to get out of the show. He doesn't
So
care.
Picard is trying to regain control of the Enterprise.
Oh, there's another outtake right there. To give us the precise stunt setting to stun Mr. Data, and if possible to help him remember some of his lines, because God knows he's going to need it.
Well, surprisingly, the lines are pretty simple, because like we're trying to appeal to people who are watching this and they've never seen it before. So, if that's okay with you,
I'm just trying to appeal to people who have seen it.
You think the computer would be smarter
I'm
than
doing the
that?
opposite.
Oh, what? Watch the computer, watch the screen. Okay, if we can cut away from Data for a second.
The subtitles have the words.
There it is. It says, I see the word Charlie, I see the word Tango. But it also wrote out all the numbers.
Oh yeah,
Hang on.
words in like SEVEN for 7.
Yeah, what? Okay, voice input is the worst possible format for inputting a password.
Well, they don't have like cameras either, so like
Literally the worst solution.
Force field
maybe
wasn't that
maybe in World War III, all of the surveillance infrastructure was destroyed, and they just never rebuilt anything. And so as they went on with the Vulcans, the Vulcans were like, "Why are you spying on
That's what it
yourself?"
is.
They're like, "It's a good idea."
They evolved all the camera technology into shipboard sensors, and they forgot about the fact that they can just go backwards. They can just use the basic form.
Look,
I like that last force
Dwarf.
field. I like that last force field that Data activated before these ones. He deliberately waited until it would have been like them walking into the force field to activate it, just so they would fall over.
Very dramatic.
I love that. I'm starting to enjoy it a lot.
So it's a serious privacy issue that like every major city is now like under surveillance all the time, not just with traffic cameras, but it's actually a really good thing also. Sometimes when you have crime or like for example the Boston Marathon bombing, you were able to quickly deconstruct where the explosions happened and who left that bag there. And it's useful in a way, but we do live in an Orwellian surveillance state by like 2016, let's say, or 2010. But the thing is though, so in 1990, the idea of like cameras being cheap enough to proliferate everywhere was just like such a ridiculous idea.
Yeah, I agree.
That like, this is why we don't have cameras in the Enterprise. Steve.
And
You guys are
we're-
right.
Okay, this is where Soong comes in.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Soong.
Hey,
Except,
those are...
except Soong
Yeah, me too.
haters.
Nope. No.
I don't know where to go with that one.
Hey, is
What
that
is
the
that?
Ghostbusters electric thing?
So,
Did you know that the sons of the prophets were brave men and bold and quite unaccustomed to fear? And the bravest by far in the ranks of the Shah was Abdullah Bulbul Amir. It's true.
He just had a cross section of an automobile part there.
Yes, he did.
I think a statue of Buddha or something.
Obi-Wan Kenobi moment. Hello there.
His name is Indian. Union Soon.
So Data is fully conscious right now, right?
Not yet, I don't think.
He hasn't come out of his quote trance unquote.
Oh, that's what communicators look like on the inside. Neat.
Oh,
I never
this
knew
is
that.
Okay. I'm thinking of Descent then when Lore messes with his emotion chip, like, or something like.
Yes and no. You're thinking of both of these episodes.
Oh, right.
But is that ethical?
He doesn't have a. He doesn't have an emotion chip either. But yeah, sorry.
He's about to. This episode
Now
is.
Data's conscious.
Yeah, that's real Data.
It's cool, the stuff hanging in the background.
And they are, of course, both Brent Spiner.
Mm-hmm.
You don't say.
No
I do
other
say, yes, in
actor-
fact.
I don't think any other actor in Star Trek has had as many roles as Brent Spiner.
No, it's like 3 different songs, I think.
Yeah.
Vaughn Armstrong.
3 different.
Like Jeffrey Combs as well.
Yeah.
2 datas, 3 datas, 3 songs.
You might even say a fistful.
Do all those count as separate roles, or is that just Data over and over again?
By the way, I saw A Fistful of Dollars. That's a really great classic Western movie you should watch also. It's this Trek fan. With Clint Eastwood.
I've seen this episode before, so now I have the luxury of looking at all the stuff in the background.
Yeah.
I
Neat
like
what
it.
these-
It's a lot.
Neat
it's a
what
lot
they
better.
decorated the set with.
It looks like my house, my room. I'll give a room tour maybe when we're done.
Oh, how old is Noonien Soong here?
Based on his look, I'd guess like 120.
Yeah.
I think he's closer to 150-ish.
Oh, Dr. Soong, that T-Rex head he has on the wall, he had a little toy T-Rex in the jaw.
It's that line that makes me think that Sung is an android.
Man, I need a bookshelf thing like that.
I think Soong is about to wish he was an android in like 10 minutes.
No.
So this is Data's real Pinocchio moment, where he actually finally
math.
meets his father, and he gets to ask him, "Why did you create me?"
Wait, in the middle of all that math, there's just a Chinese or Korean. I don't know the difference. I need to look it up. I think that's Chinese characters just in the middle of the math.
I looked it
Buddha
up.
does something similar.
Sung is supposed to be 90 years old. They had a very poor idea of what people. Oh god.
The old person makeup in Star Trek is always awful.
It's exceptionally so. Yeah. Wow.
They're used to aliens, you know, so they can make you like, you can plaster stuff on your face and change your nose, but
Oh right, Korean has a bunch of like little circles in it. That didn't have any circles. That
Yeah.
I think was Chinese.
I can differentiate between Chinese and Korean and Japanese, but I cannot read any of it.
So
Well, the
traditional
young person
Chinese
makeup's really good.
Yeah, traditional Chinese characters and Japanese characters are the same thing. They're called kanji.
I
They're
didn't know that.
simplified Chinese now as well, which is different. But
Right, after
I mean-
1965, the mainland China uses simplified, but yeah.
I mean, regular Chinese that I've seen does look very cumbersome to write.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also
Could
Hong
use some
Kong uses the,
simplification.
traditional. So does many Cantonese people. Yeah.
Oh.
I feel like this kid is old enough to have felt like she was being condescending in that conversation.
Yeah. This is a really good example too of a doctor's
Am I the only
bedside
one
manner
watching
with a
this?
kid.
Sorry. I take that back.
Cantonese speaking people, I meant. Obviously, Cantonese is not a kind of person.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't feel guilty.
And look, kids and traumatic incidents, you can't let them feel guilty because it's usually can't. It's just a kid, okay?
Yeah.
So
So in-
not about that.
Growing
Well,
up is
Real quick, I'm just concerned about the fact that when Dr. Crusher puts her hands in, even though there's a little field there that I assume is cleaning, she's not putting her hands through gloves. She's just putting her hands through.
The exact same. Like, is there a biofilter there? Why is that not hurting her? What's going on there?
All right, DB, psychological analysis.
And if it is,
are the force fields following her hands and like forming itself around them? Maybe.
It's
and
concerning.
If it is cleansing to the doctor or nurse's hands, why not just put the whole patient through it?
We see that.
Well,
in
presumably,
the
yeah, presumably you can't do that to the inside of a person.
It's probably just like a really strong UV light, but in a force field. It's probably just a little quarantine field or something.
It's a really strong UV light that you use like a cleaning on the organs inside your body.
It's just a really strong UV light, yeah.
It bleaches the inside of your body, you know.
Ah, perfect.
This makes me wonder, though, why X-ray emissions, when you get an X-ray for a bone, doesn't cure you of all viruses that you have.
I mean, if the X-rays were strong enough to kill like anything, it would probably just kill you because you get a lot of X-rays over your full body. It's not targeted.
I mean, a lot of chemo is that it's concentrated radiation that does actually kill your regular cells. That's why
it is, but it's very focused. You only target very small areas. Whereas X-ray, you just do it like to the whole body. Screw it.
Data's hardest role ever.
Yeah.
Keep it up.
Oh, that's not Brent Spiner now.
Yeah, I
don't know who that guy
That's
is.
a stunt double, yeah.
This is the same song from the first scene Data was in, the one where he said, "I am superior, sir, in many ways," to Riker.
And he was off key there too, with the same tune. He was off key there too.
Well, so
God, that is so not Brent Spiner. Brent Spiner does not have that pronounced cheekbones.
I love that he actually
Oh,
pulls the
he picked
T-Rex out and acknowledges that.
I thought that was a cool little thing I just noticed in the background. No, apparently that's something you actually... Fine.
He
has
probably
a-
put that there himself, Brent.
He has a whole little set.
Got a whole play set.
It was so good.
Is that
set designer had a lot of fun with this.
That's an interesting looking base in the back there.
Is this where the movie Spy Kids came from with the dinosaur? They just put little figures on an island. They show up in real life.
Why is Data not trying to escape as hard as he was with Kivas Fajo?
Well, this guy's
knows
old,
that-
so...
Because,
Your dad.
well, I know, but he said the last thing he remembered was they were at a Starfleet medical facility or something, or on their way. So he knows that someone's life is in danger on the Enterprise.
No, right now Data's got a memory block. It
Just
gets cleared later in the episode.
Well, he has a
That's
memory
right.
block. He has a memory block of the things he did once he was like summoned.
Yeah, he remembers
But-
everything up to being in the turbo lift with the kid.
Yeah.
And I'll put it this way. It kind of reminded me. I'm glad you said that. But do you remember when Odo was supposed to meet the changing homeworld? So this is like you activated your homing beacon like a salmon wants to return home and go up the stream of the river. And so, in other words, he's kind of like he was programmed to have this like go home data kind of thing. And so once you do it, you want to see the end of it. You don't want to just like, oh well, let me escape like I did from Kivas Fajo.
So
Because
we
it's
also...
really like so it's at a Pinocchio moment.
Data has also established at this point that is Noonien Soong, his creator.
Yeah, and so this is something that he's wanted to. This is a moment he's wanted to have his entire life.
Good
True.
question,
So
True,
Data's cool
but
with
is he-
this.
But is he? Yeah, but is he willing to let like an innocent kid die to do it?
Well,
kind of
apparently,
like
yes, he is.
I'm
It's kind of like a false binary, just being
They're-
both of them back to the ship.
Though really,
And
though,
they can-
what's Data gonna do about the kid? Data can't help there.
Well, right now
He
Data-
did divert the ship though.
He doesn't know
Data
that though.
doesn't know any of that. He doesn't know what happened on the Enterprise.
Well, that's what
He
I'm
would
saying.
probably be more
He doesn't
upset if
know.
he knew about the hijacking.
I mean, you're right though. You're right. Like
He
once the real Data would figure out the moral implications of what he did, he'd have a problem with it.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
You're right. You're right.
Are we just repeating the same plot line from the last episode of Robert and Picard, past versus future?
Is he saying
No,
that
we're not.
nostalgia is uniquely human?
Why? So that's what this episode's about, is the why.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe new fiends just don't care.
Right.
People got sick and needed money in this day and age.
Yeah, people haven't
Where's your
needed
gold
money
press?
for
Where's your
300
gold
years.
press platinum?
I wonder if those two things could be related in any way.
Yeah.
This is a real kind of Socratic dialogue, because Dr. Soong is teaching Data the answer by having Data give the answer himself through questionings.
Yep.
Almost like a psychologist.
Now, not to insult your profession here, but Dr. Soong is not asking Data how he feels.
Good, neither do I. I hate that question.
Okay.
Like, I mean, I've
I'd
been
agree with that.
I've been practicing psychology for a while now, and I can count on like one hand the number of times I've asked someone how they felt.
So when someone does ask the question, how does it make you feel? Is this going to be the Esper rating that I can apply to you?
Oh, here's the B plot of the show.
It's like the
Or
C
the
plot
other,
of this
the
one.
other A plot. I'm sorry.
We're just slowly working our way to figuring out the exact statements that annoy every individual person.
Well, I know that Ryan knows everything, so because I was there with him on season 1 with Lore, and so I'm more than happy to let you explain everything.
I mean, there's not much to know about Laura other than he's a murder bot.
I want to say the last time we saw Lore, Data had beamed him into space. With the
Yeah, he was left adrift for a long time.
No,
Which, you know, probably didn't help with him being a psychotic murder bot.
Yeah, but I mean, even if your brother's a psychotic murder bot, which is bad enough, but it's like, hey, the last time I saw you, psychotic murder bot, was I had ditched when I threw you into the abyss.
Yeah.
That's not Brent Spiner. That's Brent Spiner.
Oh, the homing beacon worked for Lore too?
Yeah.
That is also probably not all Brent Spiner.
Is that true that Laura's wearing the Packlet uniform?
I believe I was going to say something. I'm pretty sure
Is that-
Lore says so later, but he definitely hit a pack-led ship.
Yeah, Packlet ship.
Oh,
and
y'all are so funny. Y'all are so
interesting.
funny. Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh, wait a minute. If Dr. Soong knew that Lore had been disassembled, why didn't he go get the parts?
Lore having an army of Packlets as slaves.
Hey, it is a pack-led uniform.
We look for things to make us go. He helps make us go.
Laura is an honest trader.
I can't. I'm trying to imagine now Lore taking command of that Packlet ship and trying
Those
to
poor
lead them.
Packlets.
So that
Are
at
they
least he
still
can get
alive?
somewhere and get his own ship under his own.
There's
command.
no way those Packlets are still alive, right?
No, but he could have taken over the Alpha
They're in
Quadrant.
cages. Some are in cages, and they finally released because now the Lore has left them and taken their ship and just left.
Now, it's very important to note, although we're not going to see it, but Packlets do use triangle ships. So Lore did get command of a triangle ship at some point.
Lore,
What a god.
What does Lore mean that he looks fine? The dude looks 200 years old.
Lore got into the triangle ship.
Some kind of a trick?
The fact that Lore has this moment of sadness and sympathy here when that's revealed to him was always really touching to me. And the doctor never specifies what he's dying from.
I know what he dies from.
Good old age.
He dies of natural causes, in the sense that it's natural for Lore to murder people.
So hang on, this was filmed in like 1990 something. Is that what the
Zero,
average
990.
I mean, this was season 3. Is that what 90-year-old people looked like back then? Like, was there some
90?
sort
It
of
was
standard?
30 years ago.
They showed Admiral McCoy at 120.
137.
Thank you. And he was older than and he looked better than Noonien soon.
They didn't have moisturizer in the 90s. Wasn't a thing.
All of Star Trek aging makeup has usually been pretty bad.
Yeah.
Sung is dying too, so that might have. Let's just go with that. Is that a Sigmund Freud? Or no, that's oh my god.
No,
Socrates.
I didn't-
Socrates. Yeah, thank
It's
you.
hard to make someone age.
Sorry, there was just something I didn't notice about the episode until I just saw it.
Wait, sorry, where's Socrates? Oh, that's a bust.
He's in
My
the.
bad. It'll take me a minute to kind of adapt. I'm sorry.
And there's a skull because Saint Jerome, when he wrote the translation of the Greek New Testament and the Hebrew Bible, he had a skull on his desk to remind himself of time and how death was like racing with him.
How it's
So-
always stalking you.
I see a miniature Triceratops skeleton there in the background, and I see a
Oh,
bust.
that's so
of Soc-
based.
I see a bust of Socrates.
Yeah.
So, based on the context, I assume that based is a good thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Based means
Okay.
the best thing.
Okay.
Based, like,
And
generally
based is the
unagreeable, pretty
opposite
good.
of cringed. Cringe is that's how they're used.
Okay.
I just learned this like myself.
I can try and connect to the youth a little bit more. I can start describing
I don't
things
think
as
that's-
based.
I'm not sure that's the youth you want to connect to.
It is what it is.
Look at that like android thing with the giant triangle missing out of its chest. That thing is pretty wizard.
Yeah. You know, it reminds me of. I have a friend who does kendo, which is a martial arts from Japan. It reminds me of a martial arts uniform because it's designed to protect you, like your head and your chest when you're practicing. It's just like rough ribbed wooden thing, and the face mask too.
So Lore has this predicament right here where he was supposed to be fixed,
What does that
and
mean? Oh,
and
sorry.
Dr. Soong never got back to it, and presumably he can now.
Yeah.
Unless it's
Well,
too late.
unless
for him
Dr.
to
Soong
do
happens
that.
to be dying.
Well, I would so if I was Lore, I would be like, okay, you can't change the past, but here I am now. Fix me. I've always wanted that.
Yeah.
No, why would Lord doesn't acknowledge that he's fixed? He's morally flawed, and like it's implied, right? Like in other words, this is why Dr. Soong went through so many until he got to Data. But it's like you can't program like morality into something.
Can you
So
program the
kinda
3 laws of
bind-
robotics? Because that'd probably do it.
Don't kill anyone. Or like directive, the hidden directive from RoboCop: never kill a member of the corporation.
Is true sentience possible if you have to follow Asimov's rules?
That's a really
interesting.
That's a really deep question.
We all
I
have
didn't
an
think it was going to
Asimov
be that
rule,
deep, but it's kind of happened.
Yeah, I have to imagine that Brent Spiner did get pretty good pay for this episode. Probably not triple pay, but good.
I wonder if he was
Did he get
nominated
triple
for any
pay?
awards for it.
You should have been.
There we are.
There's the plot device. We found the MacGuffin.
It looks exactly the same in Generations.
He doesn't want basic emotions.
Now, you say that, but the tone of your voice seems to imply something else.
Like they lost the prop or they needed something better looking on the big screen.
This will give you basic bitch emotions. You will like pumpkin spice everything. And you will
He'll
wear
think
Ugg
he will think that
boots.
he'll think that everything is either based or cringe.
And
He'll be
Data,
giddy on Christmas morning.
Data with this chip, you will literally not be able to even.
So Lore also has this moment here. I have no reason to doubt that Lore is displaying his genuine feelings, and that's another empathic moment for Lore. Like,
Oh, I
came
think
so
Lore is
close to
being manipulative here.
rectifying.
So Lore, if Lore ever shows a shred of goodness, it's some kind of deception for some ulterior purpose. Lore does not have a good bone in his body.
Oh yes, Lore does have emotions, Chef. He does, and that's specifically why Data does not, because Lore is just evil. So just eliminate that whole thing.
Lore is like the most sadistic person in all of Star Trek.
Well, if I
except
may
for
add,
Kill
if
Teach-Up.
I may add, this episode is about giving Lore human emotions.
Lore or Data?
I haven't seen it yet,
Yes.
so
I don't know at the end. I'm a little confused at the end whether it's Laura walking away back to the Enterprise or not. And that's why I was trying to ask Ryan what he thought about that.
And
Well,
then he gonked him on the back of the head.
we're gonna get there in just a few minutes, so probably don't. We can just hold on to that for a few more minutes.
Yes.
Almost there.
Well, I was just waiting to spill.
Okay, so Riker has a gun, but Picard doesn't have a gun. But okay, but Picard's not beaming down.
They all have guns.
Okay, so that's the away team. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
They're just gonna talk. They just want to talk it out.
You're gonna talk with guns.
Hey, what about the dying child?
Hey, that's not where they put the emotion chip in Generations.
It moved around.
Was Abdullah Bulbul Amir. So, because of this episode, I went and learned that song. It's not terribly long.
Song?
Oh yeah, that's a real
I
song.
didn't know what you were singing. I thought you were just being you.
Well, I wouldn't call it singing exactly. I was just kind of saying the lines, but yeah, that's from this episode. Well, it's not
Super
from this
cool. I had
episode.
no
It's
idea.
used in this episode.
I never noticed it. Thank you.
Is that a real song?
Yes, it's a real song. The song's about two people, Abdullah Bulbul Amir and Ivan Skavinsky Skavar, who are both basically like really big, tough military guys. It's like, oh, I'm the greatest ever. And one of them accidentally steps on the toe of the other as they're walking by. And that rapidly escalates into a duel, and they just kill each other out of their pride. Because they couldn't just let go a slight accidental insult.
It's a funny song.
That's amazingly appropriately ironic for Lore to sing.
Lore used like 12 contractions when he was speaking to Sung before he realized that it was Lore.
You owe me, old man.
He says he was built with substandard parts.
But he already had emotion, so they just put another emotion chip in him.
Yeah, that's this exact. That's what's happening.
What he's about to say. Yeah, it's really. It probably works fine for Data, but if you put it in Lore, now it's just conflicting. It's just completely messing with him, and he's probably more evil now than he even was before.
Double emotions. Look at that Zolly shot.
So yes, that is what we call natural causes.
Wait, Prince Spiner's eyes are blue?
Did they
Who
have
served
to
in the
do that
ranks of
with
the
a
Tsar.
thumbnail?
And the bravest of these was a man by the name of Ivan Skavinsky Skavar.
That was a personal transporter in the 24th century.
Or maybe he was just signaling the Backlead ship with the dead crew.
Oh no, they're there. They're just like kept in shackles to their consoles.
So yeah, Lore beamed away, and then Data is going to be the one heading back to the Enterprise without his emotion chip.
Look at those pendulums there. That's kind of neat. I wonder if that's a magnetic perpetual motion thing.
Yeah. Dr. Sung invented a perpetual motion machine before he invented the Podstrack Matrix.
Oh, and here's another outtake. I don't even know what happens exactly, but everyone here just breaks out laughing. I don't know why.
Sphinx head there.
Yeah, and a lot of books.
Jeez, I have to assume Data's got to be real heavy. Dude's made of metal.
Say like several hundred pounds.
There's
I
a
think
cuckoo
Riker
clock.
carries him in one of the first season episodes, though.
How does
Riker
that
just
work?
turned him on.
No wonder Riker's back hurts.
I noticed that Lore didn't give him the Packlet outfit. He gave him a separate thing.
Doctor?
Why did he bother dressing him back up anyway?
I mean, he's it's not like he hates him.
They couldn't tell the two Datas apart.
He couldn't tell the two apart. I find that hard to believe, though.
Yeah,
I
There
know,
would have been
right? It's
some
like
physical differences that
you
he
know,
would know
like
about because he made them.
he said that lore is made with substandard parts. So like imagine a Rolex watchmaker who like encounters, or a fixer, repairman who encounters like a Rolex filled with substandard parts or like
Yeah.
non-authentic parts.
Huh.
And then he's opening up a Rolex with genuine parts and he wouldn't know the difference.
Sorry. Okay. Could you try saying that again, please?
No, I'm sorry. So I really like
'Cause
watches, you know.
what I mean is when I watched that scene, I got something totally different than you did, and so I'm just trying to figure out what you were seeing when you saw it versus what I was seeing when I saw it. I'm just listening. I'm not trying to interrupt.
A watch repairman would notice an authentic watch filled with substandard parts versus an authentic watch filled with authentic parts.
Okay.
So even though they're physically identical on the outside, Sung probably should have noticed that the interior was kind of
Yeah, see,
not
that's
quite
like
right.
what I was talking about. He used 12 contractions before he noticed anything.
I mean, that might have just been the emotion chip.
Yeah, maybe he was just really hyped to get this thing done.
When he said substandard parts, I thought it was a penis joke.
With data, it could be.
Was lore only partially functional?
Anatomically correct.
Maybe that's why he's so mad.
For God's sakes, Data, just
It's
unlock
just-
the Enterprise, please.
No, not mad. Just distracted.
Lore, there's literally, or sorry, not lore. Data, there's literally a child dying on the Enterprise. We don't have time for this.
But we'll never see the child again. It doesn't matter.
And besides,
it's more important.
And besides, Soong didn't say not to beam him to the Enterprise. He just said, "I'm an old man. I've lived a long time." Okay, well, you're gonna live a few hours longer on the Enterprise.
Well, but he also added, "I have no intention of dying anywhere else." Right?
Oh, did he say that? I missed that.
He
I'm
did.
sorry.
Meaning Dr. Soong knows this is his moment where his life ends, and he wants it to be here in his home.
So they're just going to let his corpse rot and bloat in the middle of his lab?
Well, presumably Data does something quickly, and then they can come back later for a funeral after the episode.
Suppose.
No, man, Prime Directive. That's what he wanted. Let him rot.
But lore, like Frankenstein, lore's attack. Lore attacks his own creator.
Honestly, they probably beamed a couple of ensigns down to, like laser out a hole in the ground and it'll come back.
No, I'm just thinking if they completely left him alone down there, they could head back in Discovery, now that we're in the future, and it could be just a horror episode of this overgrown lab with a skeleton on the wall.
Oh my god, I would watch the hell out of that.
It's like, what happened here? What could possibly have gone wrong?
A T-Rex fossil.
Oh, they put him in a claw machine.
I still don't trust those things.
Yeah.
Did he take those from Soong's
no,
lab?
I love
Well, they
when
use
LeVar
that-
Burton looks at the camera and goes, "Data, no."
When someone was talking about why she doesn't have gloves on or whatever, so in a nuclear facility, they have they usually have like gloves attached to this containment room.
Yeah, they
And,
even
like,
have those
that'll
in
be
Star
able to,
Trek
like-
sometimes.
Yeah, so it looks like maybe that's why she's able to hold. Like maybe there's gloves attached to the other end of that, because that's what it looks like. That's how you
They're just
violate.
using force field.
Yeah.
Even in Enterprise, when Dr. Phlox is fixing up a sick dog, he uses the gloves containment. Dr. Crusher doesn't do nothing. Someone needs to change their fire alarm batteries, by the way.
It was interesting that they
I hear that
said
too.
it was like a couple
sure it's not a
years
red
had
alert?
gone by that they were waiting to see if somebody had came back to the Enterprise.
Sorry, what were you saying?
In this last what was it? It was family,
Fox?
I think. The one after the Borg episode, the first one, they were talking about how they thought they weren't coming back from the Borg incident. Anyway, you'll see it if you rewatch this episode of Ryan's edits or Ryan's watch-alongs. How do you call this show? I'm sorry.
I call them Star Trek watch-alongs.
Okay.
Very practical description.
You have the best ones on the whole internet.
So we're
Next
not
week
watching
we
it
have-
today, but tomorrow's episodes of DS9 are going to be Indiscretion, where we're gonna meet Zial.
Oh, okay.
That's the 5
Rejoined, where Dax meets up with the lady that she's still in love with from a previous host. And Starship Down, which is the submarine episode.
Love that episode.
Oh yeah.
It's, I think, like the second same-sex kiss in all of TV history.
That can't be true anymore.
Right, I'm just saying it was like the number 2 in history.
All right, I'm carefully watching the Discord.
Kiss on DS9?
Yeah, that's coming up tomorrow.
Whoa.
I'm carefully watching the Discord to see who's beeping in the background.
I think it's
beep, beep,
beep.
It is.
What kind of beeping?
It's not actually. Yeah, it's a fire alarm, low battery
beep.
warning.
Data beep.
It's not actually a big deal. It doesn't really matter. Especially now that the show's over.
For anybody who does not know, in 1995 there was a CD-ROM PC adventure game called Star Trek: The Next Generation: A Final Unity. Unfortunately, it seems that it's not available on either Steam or GOG. But I've linked a YouTube video if anybody wants to watch the Let's Play of it.
Oh yeah, I played through that on Twitch a few years ago.
Is it good?
Yeah, actually. I mean, it's not an amazing game, but it's a good Star Trek story.
It's got the full original, not full original, like Tasha Yar's not in it, but the full cast voice acting. And I have not played it myself, but it's really neat.
I wonder if I played it. I remember playing something like that at the time, but a long time ago.
Did somebody turn on a camera or something? We were looking at a couple of couches.
It's the cat.
Now, yes, if you go ahead and look at the stream, we are now enhancing, enlarging the cat.
Yeah. We are zooming and enhancing.
If you don't
This
like
is
the
the
cat,
tradition.
then
We
that's
always
a
have to have
cat.
the cat at the end of the stream.
Spot vision, magnify.
If anybody else has pets,
I have a cat.
I do, but she hates the
Just a
camera.
ball of fur behind me.
If you would like to have a pet cam, we try to keep, well, I try to keep because I feel weird about it. I try to keep faces out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have a pet cam,
No, she's sleeping.
I might have
Can
to
I-
get mine out next time.
Can I post a picture of my very cute dog?
for sure, if you want to post a picture of your pets, we can also look at pictures of pets.
I've missed like the past 3 months. Where are we at now?
In what?
In TNG.
Best of both worlds for TNG.
Oh, I was hoping I'd be back for that one.
That was the one we watched today.
Oh, I just got home from work.
Best of both worlds, family and brothers.
Today's 3 episodes were the Best of Both Worlds, parts 1 and 2, family and brothers.
3.
Oh man, I
Got it.
usually
Oh, yeah,
work from like
it's not
noon to
coming up.
6, so it's
Plenty of
right
TNG.
during the stream.
All right, let's watch it again.
Oh.
All right, here we go. One more time.
I don't have the tears for best of both
What?
worlds. My heart is just, it's like such an emotion.
So if you want to link to pictures of your
Sorry.
pet, do it in the YouTube chat because when I have this camera open, I can't really access the Discord chat.
Oh, well, it's not on like a website or
Best
anything.
of Both Worlds.
I
Oh.
have links in the YouTube chat.
I'll
make
probably
a
go
make a
back and watch the recorded stream.
Yarzo link. That's what the people use on Twitch.
Yeah, and other forums. Yeah.
Oh, right, you can't post links in the YouTube chat. Right. Look, just tell me when you put it in the Discord chat and I'll switch over.
It's a nice doggo.
Yeah.
Can you
I've got-
post images on your ODC thingamabob? Because you could have a script that fetches images out of the Discord and throws them up there.
I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, kitty.
That's when the baby's. That's when the baby's awake.
It sounds stressful.
She doesn't like the video. She's like, "Why are you taking pictures of me?" I guess her like supersonic ears hear the camera. She's like, know.
Hang on, do we have another video I need to switch over to?
Is that your dog?
He
Two still
Okay.
pictures. of cat.
Here is. Wait, whose dog was this?
That's my dog.
Maybe I should just open it in Discord. Just save myself some steps.
Good idea.
I played games on Windows 98 and XP, but I never got to play Star Trek.
I love that cat.
That was a DOS game.
Oh god.
A dog and a guinea pig from DB. Dog and a guinea pig.
That's so cute.
Jamie, the stream's over. We've watched all 3 episodes today. We're just looking at pet pictures now before we wrap up.
Yeah.
I want to see my guitar.
DS9 Insurrection, or not Insurrection, that's different. DS9 Indiscretion will be tomorrow. That's the one we're watching tomorrow.
Okay.
You have to have indiscretion in your insurrection. You'd like some chai tea in your tai chi.
Just
Okay.
stir it up. You gotta put your cream in your tea and just stir it up.
Can we do?
Drink.
You can't do season 3 Discovery anymore. Still.
Next week, okay, so we're gonna have a warning at the start of next stream, but we can say now, next week, the embargo will have lifted, and we can talk about Discovery Season 3.
Openly.
So if you guys don't want spoilers for the Season 3, watch it by next week. Or just stop watching this, but then, then I don't get viewers.
Well, I have a question. So, are we gonna talk about it before at the beginning of the stream or at the end of the stream? Not that I mind either way.
I'm not planning to specifically have like a Discovery section. It's just that when we are talking about things, we don't have to like make separate things to have spoiler times. It'll just be, we're free to talk about it.
I am totally on board with that. That we should require all our viewers to.
The only censorship.
Like we're allowed to spoil it. Discovery next.
Yes, next week we can talk about anything Star Trek.
Okay, yeah, 100% on board with that. What?
I think we're done here.
Continuum series. Yeah.
You guys
have.
Well, yeah. I mean.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, chat. Thank you,
whatever.
Harmonix and Michael and everyone else.
You will leave me now. I require solitude.
The next episode is very appropriate for Discovery. I think it's related. So
we have
all.
been told to.
It's called.
Goodbye.
All right. Ciao.